Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sissy Jones, Delilah from Firewatch, and you're listening to The Gaming Outsider.
Happy Mario Day, Gaming Outsiders. This is Scott, and this week Zack, Alyssa, and CB join me to talk about games that are buried inside the games we're already playing. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth may have been the inspiration for that topic. Speaking of, you'll hear Zack and I continue to gush about that game. In news, Microsoft had their partner showcase this past week, and Nintendo made some announcements to celebrate Mario Day. Also, Rel and Sean stopped by to talk to us about the Thaumaturge and Cartel Tycoon. This is The Gaming Outsider. Hey guys, Scott Clark with The Gaming Outsider here. If you're in the market for a new gaming chair, I've got a fantastic deal for you. We've partnered with eWin Racing, who produces the most comfortable gaming chair I've ever sat in. They've got them in sizes for all gamers, and the quality is simply incredible. As a listener of The Go, you can get 25% off your order if you use the promo code TGO at checkout when you visit ewinracing.com. You don't have to just take my word for it, however, as multiple members of our community have picked up a chair for themselves, and they love it just as much as I do. You won't be disappointed. eWin Racing, the best gaming chairs out there. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com, also facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and our Discord server. There's a link for it in the show notes. It is Sunday, March 10th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. First off, Mr. Zack Parkerson. How you doing, man?
Good. Hey, we got the full crew here.
I know. So, speaking of, Alyssa White joining us. How are you?
I'm good. This week was stressful, but, I got to hug a therapy dog this week, so that made everything much better.
There you go.
Was it stressful because you were figuring out your 100 favorite movies ever?
No, that was not the stressful part. Just I had 3 different events I had to do, and yeah.
That sounds much easier.
Well, the 4th event is this, and it's going to be awesome, so we're very glad
This is
you're
not
here, Alyssa.
stressful.
Okay.
Also, don't make promises we can't keep.
That's true.
Son.
Also, it's been a while. He is alive. Chris Behrensmeyer, how you doing?
I do exist. And yes,
and
Alyssa,
he also just got
Russian.
back from the Eastern European countries.
yes, Bratislava. Though I will agree with you, Alyssa. Puppers make everything better.
Yeah, this one just was a cuddler the whole time. He wouldn't let me get up even when the doctor was like, "Okay, time for the next patient." He's like, "No,
nope. This
I found
is
a
mine
human
now.
that will cuddle me now."
Well, there's a reason that dog is a therapy dog then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, his
Do
name
they
was
have-
Baloo, like the
Do they
bear.
have therapy
Oh,
kittens?
Pupper.
Therapy cats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really. Well, I mean, they're
I
not
mean-
as.
Herc is. My cat is.
Is he a therapy cat?
Oh, dude, you've played with him. Like you could.
Yeah.
You could throw him across the room, and he's like, "Okay, let's do it again."
How'd
know
you
this
find
from
that out?
experience? I was going to say.
I will not be revealing my secrets.
That
But-
is Chris B. at thegamingoutsider.com.
Hey, you know what? I love that cat, and he loves me.
There you
We
go.
have the same energy.
Yeah, the abused often fall in love with their abusers.
Like,
Yeah, it's called Stockholm Syndrome.
yeah,
I did-
Hercules wants to throw you across the room too, but he's just too little to do it.
Though I did have a conversation with him about him with Rose last night, and I'm punching
I bet
myself.
you had a conversation with the cat.
Well, I do that on a daily basis. I was talking to him before the show. I'm mad because I gave him the wrong name.
What name should you have given him?
What is my favorite movie franchise? One of my favorite movie of all time.
Jonesy.
Yeah, I should have named the damn cat Jonesy.
That's a good point, yeah.
Because I was watching.
But
and I'm
don't
like,
you think that could ruin the movie then? Because Hercules is gonna die one day, and then you're
No.
watching
Mm-mm.
Aliens, and you be seeing Jonesy the whole time.
Jonesy survives?
No, I understand that. Well,
Your cat
yeah,
is eventually going to
Nope.
not be
I
alive.
mean-
Cloning.
I mean, my
Okay.
cat died, but it hasn't ruined True Blood for me. So.
I will
Alright,
clone her. He is my cat forever.
I'm always worried about that of not naming an animal after something I love, then having to face their death, and then
Every time you see that art, you're going to think
Right.
of it again. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, real quick, I got some quick announcements. First off, it is Mario Day today, as of this recording. So
It is.
it's not Mario's birthday. They just do it because of the MAR10 thing. So
My milk expired.
yeah.
I saw that picture.
Yeah. Also, if you haven't checked it out already, Kevin has been putting together this March Madness matchup deal on our social medias. It's been a lot of fun. He's just been matching up 6th gen or prior platformers against each other head to head, and everybody's been voting on them, and we're going to kind of bracket them down.
Shout out to the totally fair matchup of Gexa Gecko versus Super Mario World.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I mean, he just did them randomly. It's not like he.
But it's so brutal. Like, what did Gex do to deserve this?
Yeah. There's one I couldn't vote for because I didn't know. I hadn't played either of them. One of them was Earthworm Jim 2, which I've played the original, but I never played the sequel. And I can't even remember what the other one was. What was Earthworm Jim 2 up against?
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but it was another one that I hadn't played. So I'm like, I got to abstain. I'm not just going to pick one because I like the original a lot. But
man.
The legacy vote.
That's the American way to vote. Oh, I don't know. I don't like either of these. I guess I'll just pick one.
Right? Yeah. Hey, at least you're voting. But anyway, so we're going to be kind of bracketing those down until we get to, one game that's going to be crowned the champion of the best platformer from the 6th generation beyond. That's going to be fun. Also, I did our February game giveaway for Mario versus Donkey Kong on Switch, and lo and behold, Paul Hine won that game, so I'll be sending him a copy. So stay tuned for our giveaway for March. Not sure what I was thinking about it. Why didn't we do Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? That would have been perfect, but also I feel like anybody that wants to play that game probably already purchased it. So
I don't know. I mean, it's $70, right?
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Some people have to hold off.
Yeah.
The matchup was Earthworm Jim 2 versus Spyro 2.
Spyro 2. Yeah, I played the original Spyro, and the original Earthworm Jim, but neither of the sequels. So,
did you like Spyro or Earthworm Jim more?
I thought of doing that, but it still just didn't feel right. Boy, I would probably have to say Earthworm Jim just because I played it more.
This is your civic duty to the gaming outsider, and you're shirking it.
My civic duty to the goat. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the games we've been catching up on. CB, I imagine you got a lot to talk about. What do you got?
I beat some games.
Hey, all right.
I beat Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate 3. I've also
beat Baldur's Gate 2,
but yes, I beat Baldur's Gate 3.
What's the verdict?
Damn.
Okay.
That game's a thing, man.
Looks very good.
Oh,
it does, yeah.
I wish someone else who lives in the same town as me would finish the game so I could talk about it with him.
I mean, you can talk to Kevin about it. He's finished it. I'm playing.
We have been, but it would be real nice to talk to somebody else because I'm curious. Because
I'm still in Act 1, dude.
Scrub.
He's playing. He's playing it at his own pace.
Yeah, dude. I'm not in a rush.
Put over 130 hours into it.
Congratulations.
So that's why Scott will take 2 years to beat it.
Are you kidding me? He's never going to finish it. It's just going to be like, and we're done here.
No, if I got a weekly group I'm committed to, that's a different story. I genuinely look forward to sitting down. I've been playing with Kevin. Actually, I played with Paul this morning. Paul joined us. He had to create a character. We were hoping he could just play one of our existing characters, but no, you can't do that. Nope. You have to create a character in order to do it. So, which is fine, but
man, the final act is a real trip.
Yeah.
And I will say that the final fight of this game is probably legitimately one of my favorites of all time. It's a real good fight.
I am who's your waifu?
I was Shadowheart.
Oh, okay.
All right. Really?
Duh. Emo girl.
I haven't even seen the girl with I don't know what race they are, the yellow-skinned girl, that looks like a lizard. Did you even have that character? On the cover? You didn't see her either?
I thought you had to pick her up in the beginning of the game.
No, that's the thing is you don't. You don't have to, Chris doesn't even have Asterion in his...
Asterion?
Met Asterion.
Sorry, let me correct myself. Not that you had to pick her up, but that's when you pick her up was very early in the game.
Shadowheart, for sure, but...
No, Lae'zel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lae'zel you meet right when you're exiting, but you don't have to... you can see her, but then never interact with her again, apparently.
No idea who that is. Same with Asterion and Gale.
You never saw Lae'zel?
Nope. Don't know who that is.
That is insane to me. So the only one from the cover that you've actually met is Shadowheart. Oh, and Will. Yeah. That's just kind of crazy. I had so much fun. I got to tell you a quick story that happened, and I don't think, if you're worried about any kind of spoilers, sure, but this wasn't even really super story related. We were in something called the Underdark, which CB will know what that is. And we were chasing one of the quests. I don't remember what it was, but we came across this creature called a brûlé. I had to be informed as to what it was. It's basically like a land shark. It's like a ground shark or something like that. And we fought one, not a problem. And then a little bit later, I said, hey, guys, there's something called a minotaur over there. And Kevin was like, dude, those are no joke. We should probably be real careful here. And then Paul goes, wait a minute, there's 2 of them. And Kevin's like, you got to be kidding me. There's 2 of them. Oh, and there's also a brûlé here as well. So we've got our 4-man party and 2 minotaurs and a brûlé, which is a new creature to me. And Kevin said, well, hey, hang on a minute. Stay back a minute. Maybe they'll fight each other. And so we took some pot shots from the distance. But yes, lo and behold, all 3 of them started fight, or the 2 minotaurs started fighting against the brûlé and whittled down most of their health, and we were able to clean up quite easily. It was just a really fun moment because I had this immediate panic attack that we're not going to survive this. And then, lo and behold, something happened that just made it work, and it was a really, really cool feeling. And Kevin said that did not happen in his playthrough, nor did it happen in Paul's. Oh, yeah. So just the crazy amount of tiny little details that can happen in this game are kind of crazy.
It's even more fun when you charm enemies that you shouldn't be able to and have them kick the crap out of things.
We came across a frog today that just up and attacked us. It only had 12 health and wiped out one of our party members. We had to put it to sleep in order to be able to even attack it because it wouldn't take any damage.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
No.
I mean, I'm just talking like not like a big frog. I'm talking like a little normal sized frog.
Maybe it was Frog from Chrono Trigger.
Maybe.
I mean,
his name was Glenn though.
No.
Oh wait, no.
Glenn,
I remember
Glenn the frog.
Yeah, I remember Glenn. You can talk to Glenn.
Could you not damage it because like his agility was too high or something, and you couldn't land a hit?
There's a, I don't know what you call it, a modifier or status that's like toughness or something like that.
Yeah.
Where like the only way you can damage them is if you do damage over 10 or something, or whatever the number is at that point. Sturdy, is that what it's called?
Well, there's toughness, there's sturdy. It just depends on the amount of damage that you have to be able to overcome before it actually takes anything.
I only have actually 2 issues with Baldur's Gate. One we experienced today. The game, at least on Xbox, really struggles with verticality. Like when you're trying to spin the camera around, if you're fighting enemies that are below you or above you, or trying to just look at the map up and down, it gets really wonky and squirrely trying to figure out where you're doing. And then the other issue I've got is I'm using a character that has Hunter's Mark. Are you familiar with what Hunter's Mark is, Zach?
Yeah, well, in other games, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. I had never experienced Hunter's Mark until I played D&D. But Hunter's Mark is something where I basically cast Hunter's Mark on an enemy, and anytime I damage that enemy, it does extra damage. And then if you kill that enemy, you can transfer the Hunter's Mark to another enemy as long as you don't break your concentration. So it took me forever to figure out that for whatever reason, the icon in order to reapply Hunter's Mark does not show up in my weapon wheel. And every single time I want to use it, I have to go manually set it, because you can set your weapon wheels to be whatever you want. So every time I do it, I have to go in there. It's apparently a known issue that other people are talking about online, but it's just an inconvenience. But sure would be nice if I could just open up my weapon wheel and reapply it.
Does the same
without
for
having to go through.
Like Call Lightning.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But, these are minor issues with an otherwise...
The game is just so good.
It's so entertaining. It's so much fun. It goes by pretty slow when you're playing with people because we're all taking our time, taking our turns. You kind of can play your turns at the same time, but you're going to want to communicate because, if you both attack at the same thing at the same time and waste a turn or whatever, it's kind of interesting. But yeah. Anyway, TB, what else you been playing?
Balataro. Beat it.
Balatro.
Whatever.
It's not Balataro.
Words.
He's adding syllables.
That makes it
into
sound
this game.
like it's Japanese.
Balataro.
Balataro, made by Yoko Taro.
I'm intrigued.
Quesadilla.
Anyway.
Yeah, beat it on now 6 different decks.
Nice. You want to tell everybody what you did? That blew my mind.
What did I do?
You told me you had to stop playing it.
Oh yeah, I had to delete this off my Xbox. Dude, it's an addiction. Because
Really good.
You're just like, oh look, I unlocked a new deck. Will the stupid combo that I created work again?
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, it does. So, I think there's only like a few achievements left that I can't obtain.
Wow,
but,
you really put in some time on that. There's some achievements that are stupid.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you know the combo, it's not hard.
Yeah. I may re-pick it up on Switch, assuming it's available on Switch by the time I get to it.
I would love this on Switch because it's something that I could just like pick up and like play a set and put it down.
I hope it comes to phone.
No.
He's already talking about it.
I don't want it on phone.
Yeah.
No.
Drain your battery.
Yeah. And then I also beat Arcade Paradise.
Wow, that was a while ago you were playing that.
I was, but like I said, I've been going through trying to clear off my Xbox so I can just be like, okay, be gone.
You know, you can delete games without finishing them.
I'm not you. I don't just backburner it into eternity.
Okay.
But
it felt a little rude.
He and I have had this conversation recently. They're like, there's some games I'm like, did you ever finish this? He's like, no. I was like, that was 6 years ago.
I wish I had the strength that when I was not feeling a game to just be like, you know what? I'm done. But no, I feel like I got to finish everything I start.
Well,
I wish I had that.
And that's my problem is oh God, I think it was like starting in the Xbox 360 era. Like I would just buy additional memory and be like, nope.
Ugh.
So that's why I have on my Xbox One, I have a 10 terabyte drive.
10 terabyte?
Yeah.
All right.
He doesn't want to wait, 5 minutes to download a game.
Yeah.
I just kept adding on games, but no, so I'm
it's a 10 terabyte hard drive. That's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth would probably be like 10% of that.
Yeah.
So big.
It's a big game. So I've been clearing those out and I'm like, yes, so those are done. I still have to finish Plague Tale Requiem and Dying Light 2 and because I'm like those are beefy boys.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to be gone, and then I never have to look at you again.
The story, especially it's great.
I know, and that's the problem. Is like so many good games come out and they get backburned because I still want to play Skull and Bones.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I don't have any. Even when I hear people talk about that on podcasts, I'm just like, I don't need to play that game.
I'm sorry, man. I want to be a pirate.
I don't want to be a pirate.
Assassin's Creed 4 didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've beat that a couple times.
See, but that's the problem with Skull and Bones is you can't be a pirate. You can just be a boat.
I'm okay with being a boat.
Right.
I did learn one interesting thing about that game, that the multiplayer is not you sharing a boat with somebody, you and somebody else in your own boats. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Why would that be anything else?
Just because it's how Sea of Thieves is. Like you're manning a boat together.
But again, you don't actually play as a pirate in Skull and Bones. You just play as a boat. You chop down trees with a boat in that game.
Are you?
That is 100%.
How does that work?
For real. Yeah.
Do you just ram your boat into trees until they
you
fall
shoot
down?
the trees with the cannon.
You you pull up alongside it with your boat and you just harvest some trees.
So
now
weird.
see, when I played through the beta, like you did leave the boat.
No, you do leave the boat, but all you do is talk to a merchant or talk to a guy who's like, "Hey, get back to your boat."
You talk to some other people in the beta.
Yeah, but I was saying you don't do anything though.
Yeah, I mean it's not a lot of. But I want to.
It could just be a visual novel, and it would be the same effect.
Except the fact that I can roll around in a boat and shoot things with cannons.
No, I'm understanding. No, I'll give you the boat. I'm saying when you're playing as the pirate in quotes, all you're doing is talking to people or buying stuff. It felt like it was just there so they could sell you stuff to put on your pirate character.
CB, are you defending a game you haven't played?
Yeah,
Well,
I am.
we both played the beta. We can have an informed conversation.
Yeah,
I can say I've never so immediately disliked a game in my life. Like, it was so boring right off the bat. How did they make ship combat worse than a game released 10 years earlier? What is that about?
Yeah,
I just want to boat it up.
You know what? I'm sorry. I won't
Bro
yuck your
boats.
gum. I apologize. I take it back. Well, I don't take it back, but I hope you have fun.
But again, like the fact that me and a friend can have our own boats and we can like roll around in boats. Just bro boats.
Yeah, you can broat it up.
Broats.
Just broating it up.
Man, that's like I keep referring to my chocobo in FF7 as my chocobro.
Chocobro.
Oh, okay, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There you go.
pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Alyssa, you can catch up on anything fun?
Okay. Well, I finally finished Banishers last night because of New Year.
Nice.
That 25 to 30 hour playtime estimate, nah, that's a lie. 43 hours
Wow.
on normal difficulty, and that's doing every side activity for the characters and every haunting case, which are optional. But
Though in my time with the game, the haunting cases were certainly the highlight.
oh yeah, for sure, I adored those, and also just the relationship between Red and Antea. I believe I got the good ending. I need to go and look on YouTube to see how many different endings there are, because I think there are 2 or 3, maybe more. I don't know. Thoroughly enjoyed my time. I will be writing a review for the site very soon. But yeah, I finished that up, and okay, go ahead.
With my time with the game, I found myself slightly disappointed in that the haunted cases I played, it seemed pretty clear that there was like good and evil, and I was expecting a little more morally gray area, and that's something that disappointed me with their vampire game as well, because I really wanted to struggle with the decisions, but there was no struggling with what was good or evil. Does the game get kind of murkier with its morality, or is it always pretty cut and dry? Because the options are like, do you want to banish this ghost of this guy who abused this lady, or do you want to kill her instead? You're like, well, okay. I mean, seems pretty clear I know what the right choice is here. You know what I mean?
It's pretty much you can tell the good and evil choices. It stays the same in that regard. So yeah, it is a little disappointing on that front. Like, you don't really have to think that hard about which side of the morality fence you want to fall on. But otherwise, the cases are very interesting. It's just, when it's time to make a decision, like, the good choice, the bad choice.
Yeah, and and I'm fine with that, right? Like, I love KOTOR. I think with this game, it just bummed me out because, I wanted to feel the pull of like, should I kill people to resurrect my wife a little harder? But it seems so clear that like, this will make you one evil guy if you do this. Yeah, it just felt a little disappointing in that way.
Yeah, it does. And I cannot do that because I'm a goody two shoes. I can't do that in games.
Right.
So I want to see someone who did do that and just watch their ending.
Just murdering these innocent people.
I just want to live vicariously.
She can't do it
through
herself. Yeah. Anything else you've been checking out, Alyssa?
Well, I do want to play Final Fantasy VII, but I didn't have enough time to really start it after I finished Banishers last night. But I still wanted to play something for about an hour. So I started up This Bed We Made. I believe it came out last year.
I've never heard of it. Or have I?
Well, it was a game I wanted to review last year, but did not have the opportunity to.
Okay.
It's really interesting. I think it's probably near the end, though. I've played 2 hours of it so far, and I feel like I'm near the end of it. It's interesting, though. You play as a maid, and she's a Snoopy maid, which I would be too.
Is that why it's called This Bed We Made?
Probably. You do make beds in this game, by the way.
All right.
But you're Sophie the maid, and you get caught up in this guy's stalking you, and you're trying to figure out why is he stalking you and taking your picture, and it's just this whole thing where you get you have to go to different rooms, and it's this whole tangled web, and you're trying to solve what's going on, and with what little knowledge you have. quite a few like puzzles you have to solve, but they're not too difficult. I mean, the game will flat out tell you what to do sometimes. It's just really interesting to see like what's going on, what happens next. And it is fun to go into the rooms and snoop through stuff.
You're living out a fantasy you didn't know you had?
I'm just a snoopy person in general, I admit it. So yeah, it's just fun to snoop around and see like what books are in this person's hotel room. This person drinking. Like just look through their stuff.
So
Nothing inappropriate.
So nobody should hire you as a maid.
No. Well, first off, I'm a germaphobe, so that would... No, don't hire me, because I'll freak out over everything. But also, yes, I would snoop through stuff, if given the opportunity. So,
Alright.
But I mean, it's a decent little game to play if you want to kill some time and you like doing...
Snooping?
I was going to say investigative work, but yeah, it's snooping. And it looks pretty good, too, for what it is. So, yeah. I don't know if it's on sale, but it's fun to play for a little bit, and I feel like it's not going to be too long, so. And then I'll jump into Final Fantasy VII.
You will be pleasantly surprised. Anyway.
How could she be surprised at this point with how much
I know, right? Yeah, it's true. Zach, you're up, man.
Sure, I finally finished Trails in the Sky SC, and I am disappointed to report that the final chapter is kind of severely disappointed me.
Aww.
Which is a bummer. The main romance remains perfect throughout. It's quite adorable. But the like final dungeon area is quite long, hours long, and the dungeons in this game kind of always straight up sucked. But I didn't care because they were usually somewhat short, and getting to the next story was easy. But in this last dungeon, it's not only are it's just these confusing mazes of boring design, but they also make you backtrack constantly in this final area. And backtracking is not something I typically mind, but when the backtracking is like you get to a door and it's like, well, we didn't bring this character, so I guess we got to go all the way back to our home base. 10 minutes of just walking.
Did the enemies respawn?
Of course.
Yeah,
yeah.
So they're forcing you to grind, is what it is. But you want to make sure you're leveled up for this final boss.
But I felt like I was a kid again because I was just fleeing from every battle.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, which is what I used to do. But so that really sucked. And then you have these showdowns with these bosses. I don't want to give too much away, but things get very anime-y in a way. I'm sorry, Alyssa, I didn't mean to insult your people, but
I'm not insulted.
They do this thing, where like you beat this enemy and like I don't know. They do the thing where like, oh, I guess we can be friends now, or
power of friendship.
Yes, very power of friendship. Yes, absolutely. And it's quite obnoxious, especially when you get to like, like truly evil people, and they're like, "Are you sure you want to live like this?" or they do the equally annoying thing that happens a lot, like in Shonen, where like you totally beat this guy in a fight, and he's like, "I guess you made me break a sweat. Next time I'll unleash my full strength."
Oh yeah, I know that very well.
I hate that trope so much.
I do too.
Dude, I just all of Bleach.
I assume so. I was gonna say all of any shonen anime I've ever seen.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so just a lot of unfortunate disappointment. Some cool threads they set up for the next game, I will say, but I don't know. I think I definitely need a break for the next one because boy, that was what a roller coaster. It was so awesome for so much of it, and then here at the end, it's just really. I was ready to fall, head over heels in love, but I guess Trails in the Sky SC didn't want me to.
Oh.
And that's all you've been playing this week, right?
Yeah, of course. I said, who I hate? Tifa Lockhart. Can't stand her. Can't stand her because she's not real.
Yeah, I'm more of an Aerith guy myself, but
well, you are a golden retriever. She's got golden retriever energy too.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I've been playing FF7 Rebirth. As have you, Scott, I imagine.
I feel like I've talked to you more this week through text message than I have in quite a while. Like this has been an everyday conversation between you, me, and Brandon Smith, comparing notes and
strengthening our friendship. This game, I guess.
I know.
What chapter are you on?
I'm on at the end of chapter 9. I am leaving.
You don't have to give anything away, right?
Oh, okay. I am. leaving a area that I don't feel was in the original game unless I'm not remembering it, and I'm heading towards an area that is in the game that I'm really curious to see how they're going to handle it.
You won't be disappointed. Chapter 10 is cool.
Awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. And
might be it's the coolest looking town, I think, so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of towns in this game, huh?
There is a lot of towns. It's massive. It is staggering how big this map is and how much stuff there is to do. And I'm not even I stopped doing the side stuff, like the clearing the map. I did the entire map of the grasslands, and then I started doing what you did and just doing the side quests, which there was one side quest in the third area that had like 7 steps or something like that, and it took forever, and you couldn't complete the last step until you got to chapter 8.
Yeah.
So really
yes.
annoying.
That side quest was frustrating because they're like, "Yeah, I wish I could swim." And you're like, "Well, good, because I can," and then but it won't let you.
Oh, there's some branches in the water, so you can't swim past this.
So check back in 6 hours from now.
Yeah, pretty much. But
very weird.
I have a bold statement I'm gonna make about this game. It's not really bold. It's an adoration statement. But do you have any other thoughts before I gush a little bit?
No, I am loving that every, because we use the word open world, but it's not really. They're kind of like big zones,
Yeah.
But I appreciate how distinct each one is, and each one, when I'm rolling up with my posse on my Choco Bros, they all have different skill sets for each region. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It keeps the game is constantly keeping things fresh, even so in your mounts, or they each have like a different ability. I don't know. It's nice how distinct each region has felt. Kind of been surprised by that.
Yeah. I'm not playing it on the hard difficulty like you are. I'm playing it on whatever the default was.
I'm not playing it. I'm playing on dynamic. So it gets harder and easier as it dictates, I guess.
Oh, okay. So I like that I'm not struggling a ton. Like the combat is so good and there's so many options. I feel like there's always something to do. So as long as you keep yourself busy and aren't idle and know what you're doing, you're going to be successful. I was talking to Kevin. He's actually playing it in the turn-based style. He prefers turn-based combat, and he's really enjoying that. So that's kind of cool.
I wonder how that works. I guess I got to try that out. See how it works.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, I want to like just flip it over for a couple battles and see how that works, because I'm so used to, I have my go-to. So I go-to an attack, build up an ATB, assess the enemy, exploit that with my other ones.
Assess.
I love assessing. It's like,
do you have a go-to party? Did we talk about this last week?
I don't know. I talked about this with Brandon, and I was going to ask you a similar question, but I was worried I asked you already, so we'll just do it. My go-to is obviously Cloud, Barrett, and Aerith.
Oh, okay.
I've been rolling with Aerith, and it's silly because it's not a skill that's tied to her. It's a materia skill, but I've just basically made her my healer. So I've got my AP doubler attached to the prey materia. I'm trying to, because if you get that one up to level 5, you power up that materia that high. It does significant increase, and I kind of relied on that pretty heavily. So I go into battles, building up ATB for Cloud, and my secondary character does the magic, and then I switch over to Aerith to power her ATB up just so that she has it in queue just in case things go crazy.
So you have a prayer ready?
Yes, and then I let her do her thing because maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I feel like her attacks are worthless. They're not doing much.
I think so, but she does build up ATB quick, I think.
Not as quick as Barrett, and that's a lot of why I like Barrett, because I've got his overcharged ability thing ranked, so that fills up rather quickly, and that staggers enemies quite well. I'm digging that. But that was going to be my question for you: is what do you have your doubler attached to?
I have it. I have the AP doubler material is attached to Cloud on it's a material that gives you fire and blizzard at the same time.
I thought about doing that as well, just because you're basically doubling up 2 magics, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it also takes a lot more AP.
A lot more, yeah.
A lot more
but
to get those up.
And I'm starting to regret it because my blizzards and fires and every other character is at Fyra and Blizzara,
Yes.
But for that one, it's still just fire and blizzard. But I'm too far in now. Can't quit.
You're too pot committed at this point.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cloud is he's kind of my battle mage, I guess, because he's also got Cure. powered up pretty strong. Because my go-to is Cloud, Barret, and Tifa.
Oh, okay.
Because just I like having Cloud and Tifa in there in the fight. Tifa's just so much fun to play as. I really love her. She gets so vertical. She has one of those synergy abilities that gets her vertical right away, which is super nice. And then Barret he's just really great from the back. And you're like you said, he gets that ATB going really quick, and there's something satisfying about pressing that triangle button to make him like reload his arm to get the overcharge going.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great deal of fun. I have recently started experimenting with Red 13 more, and he's more he's better in combat than I had thought at first. His vengeance mode is I didn't really understand it at first, but now that I've figured it out, it's quite a bit of fun. So.
It's just crazy how different every character really is. I mean, it's not just like, oh, you press a button and they have a different attack. They mechanically work so different from one another, and it's impressive. I also love, did I talk about this last week, where
we've talked so much about Final Fantasy. Who knows?
I know. You don't have to have, like when you assess an enemy and you see what their weakness is, and then you go to your character and you don't have that magic, it doesn't matter. Because if you are doing the folios, which is basically the skill tree, each character has an ability that you can unlock that has that element attached to it. So every character has an ice ability or a fire ability or a wind ability or whatever that you can unlock, which is nice because then you can still feel like you're participating in the weakness, even if you don't have that magic materia attached to that specific character. Oh, and speaking of magic, I texted you last night. Did you try this out yet? The game does not teach you this. If anybody's playing this game and you don't know this, I learned about this past week. When you are in the equipment and materia page, if you just press on the touchpad on your PlayStation 5 controller, it brings up all the materia for every character so you can swap back and forth between people. If you haven't played any played the game that much, you're not going to know why that's helpful, but man, I wish they would have taught that to me earlier on.
Right, because normally you have to go to each character's page one by one and change out their materia, but with this trick you've taught me, 30 plus hours into the game, I finally know how to switch out materia more easily.
Right.
I'm just looking forward to playing it so I can put my old Final Fantasy 17 back together.
Final Fantasy 17?
Cloud, Red 13, and Sid.
Well, I got bad news for you.
Yeah.
I trust me, I know it's sad on the Sid front, but
luckily they confirmed pre-release, or else I would also be sad that Sid and Vincent are not playable in this one.
So
which is a bummer because Sid was also in my go-to party now.
So dude, love Sid.
Like a lance or a spear, right? Remember?
Yeah,
a spear, which if you find later on, it becomes like a trident.
Yeah.
Was he smoking in the original, or did my child brain?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not chain smoking as much here. I also thought this game, they present Sid about 20 years younger than I thought he was.
Really?
That's
interesting.
But it's probably because I met him when I was younger than you were,
Oh,
so to me, he was this chain smoking, cursing older dude. And I was like, yeah, this guy's awesome. He must be 40 to 50 years old.
Then
that's so old.
I used to also use Kate Sith a lot for the
when you're a kid,
slots
that
of
seems
jackpot.
old.
Kate Sith can rot in hell.
Shut up. I love it.
I was surprised by the choice they did for his voice acting.
Yeah.
It is not how I heard that voice in my head when I was a kid or when I was younger, but I like his voice in this game.
Yeah. I expected Sid to be gravelier.
Sid to be gravelier?
Yeah. Okay. Well, but anyway, still love Sid.
What I'm going to say,
Gold Saucer does not disappoint.
Oh my goodness, that's just insane how massive Gold
that's a whole game.
is.
There's a whole video game there. It's fusion. Yeah. It's like all of Fusion Frenzy there.
Yeah.
Or it's crazy.
Crazy. I've been doing a lot of thinking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I've been playing it a ton. It's all I want to be playing. I've spent every free minute I can playing this game, and I'm still somehow behind Zack and Brandon. It's just crazy to me. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the reason why I try to play as many video games as I can. I feel like this is my purple dragon that I've been chasing for forever. This is the kind of experience that I have been looking for because it scratches that nostalgic itch while also giving me something fresh to play and experience, and it's so much fun exploring this world and seeing places that you recognize. It is just an absolute joy to play. And this whole playground thing that we've got between the three of us texting and talking about, did you see this yet? Did you see this yet? Did you try this? What's your part? We've been having these conversations. It reminds me of being a kid and going to school and having those conversations with friends. This is an achievement of a game, and I can't even fathom what they're going to do with the third one. Like, number one, where are they going to end 2 or Rebirth?
I think we all know.
Fairly obvious.
Yeah, there is a spot that makes a lot of sense to end it.
But that is also at the end of the first disc,
right,
of the 3-disc game, which means the entire third portion of this trilogy is going to be an entire disc's worth of content plus, the final area.
But based on the way this one is paced, it feels like that is where they're going to end it.
Yeah, it feels inevitable, but again,
unless this game is significantly longer than I thought.
I mean, remember they said they've changed some story beats, so I have a feeling
they've changed more than some.
Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is when that moment happens, I have a feeling it's going to come sooner than you think.
Oh, okay.
I mean, my assumption. I mean, Square Enix, the cat is out of the bag, right? This is a sequel series, right? In a fashion to Final Fantasy VII, it seems like, or they're doing their own spin on it, a reimagining, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I would suspect the third one's going to be where they get quite different, but I could be wrong.
I mean,
because so far they've done an amazing job in this game in particular of still making you feel like you're playing that PS1 game, but with just enough new stuff to where it feels like a new game.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I still wouldn't be surprised if that moment involves a different character.
Yeah, I think that is the case as well.
Mm-hmm. That thought has already crossed my mind.
And I haven't even played it yet.
Hey man, I gave my theories before the game came out.
Oh yeah.
But this thing's impossible to put down. Like I said last week's it's got a PS1 heart and soul with PS5 sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's true in what you're talking about, the playground thing too, where we feel like kids with a PS1 game again. And I think it's because you never know what's going to happen next. The game is constantly surprising you
mm-hmm.
with 1,300 mini games or some kind of wacky little side adventure that takes a few hours, or it's just you never know what you're going to get, and it's awesome. And all those cool moments, when Sephiroth's showing up and taunting you or whatever.
Oh man, it's just
every time, it just
goosebumps every time.
It's friggin' awesome.
It is making me. I'm seriously considering after this is done, going back and replaying the original, just because I've missed
Polygon hands.
I've missed it. I mean, sure, that game may not have aged as well, but that doesn't bother me as much.
That game is still great.
And part of me, I mean, I know you can do it in this game, but like Kevin was talking, he's doing the turn-based. Part of me kind of misses it being turn-based a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I love the action and everything, but I'm not going to say I love the simplicity because I don't really consider it simple. But I don't know. I love everything about this game, and
I think the combat in this thing is impeccable.
It's so good, so good.
It's hard to wait. But if you replay the original, let me know, dude. I'll join you. I just bought it on sale after playing Rebirth.
Yeah,
So
they picked a good time to do that.
I was gonna say, marketing synergy worked on me.
We better stop, otherwise you and I are just going to talk about this game for an hour and a half. And
what's the problem with that? I gotta get that Bahamut summon. You know what I mean?
That'll come for our spoiler cast at some point.
Probably
I imagine
it's gonna be a 6-hour spoiler cast.
I know, right? All right. Well, that's what we've been catching up on. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. All right, we got a trailer for some new DLC for Vampire Survivors called Space 54. Yes, Vampire Survivors is going into space. Xbox had their partner preview live streamed this week, and MLB The Show is going to have female players this year. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why Nintendo is being weird about crediting who develops their games. Also, there is a new Watch Dogs movie in the works, and Nintendo made a bunch of announcements in celebration of Mario Day. CB, you have been gone for a bit, so I'm going to give you first crack at what story you'd like to talk about.
MLB The Show.
Okay, go for it.
So I'm excited, man.
Mhm.
I love the fact that I can play MLB The Show on my Xbox. So first off, but you already know, like, I'm a baseball nut.
Right.
I love baseball. So like the fact that they're gonna throw something new in here, like the fact that you can have a female baseball player. I want to see how that's gonna go.
I do too.
Because I'm curious. I don't know if you remember, there was the TV show a few years ago where they did the whole like, oh, it's the first female player in baseball. And like, I thought that show was brilliant. It only got one season. I was kind of mad about that. But no, so it's something different. I love the show, man. So I'm excited to see something new being brought to a sporting franchise that doesn't actually exist. So it's definitely something pushing the boundary.
Yeah, there's actually going to be like a whole secondary career mode called Road to the Show Women Paved Their Way. And this isn't like replacing what you normally do. It's like a second campaign, which is, it's nuts to me. You can even create your own female player. I just want to know, am I going to be able to play as the Rockford Peaches? Because
dude, don't toy with me like that. I'll be excited. But I want to make a couple just because, like, I don't know if you've seen like some of the characters that people make in MLB The Show.
No.
But they'll make these like giant monstrosities of like people.
Like the ones that will like what's that other baseball game that was on Xbox Game Pass? All-Star Baseball Stars or something like that?
Yeah, it's something like that. I can't.
Where they look like super like
just like they look like ARC characters.
Sure, yeah.
And so, like, just be like, I can create a 7'2" woman with arms the size of Hulk Hogan. And just be like,
let's do it.
Dingers for days, bros.
I like MLB The Show, but just like for the first couple weeks, and I'm really glad it's on Game Pass. I don't have to purchase it since there's not like a Redbox rental anymore.
Yeah, that definitely makes me happy because I do like to get in, get out, have some fun with it.
Yeah, same here. Alyssa, oh, you got more? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm just happy that they're also creating the more stuff with the Negro Leagues.
Yes,
I know there's some controversy because there are people like, oh, well, it's racist. I'm like, no, like they're paying tribute to an entire lost like section of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm actually debating on buying the collector's edition just because it has the alternate art on the front.
Last year wasn't it like a Jackie Robinson?
Yep, but this year it's got like some of the different Negro League teams on the cover. Cool. And I'm like, dude, this is really cool because like outside of like people that are like really into baseball history or going to Cooperstown, like you don't see any of it.
Right.
So props to Sony for making this.
Very cool. Alyssa, you got a story that you'd like to discuss?
Why Nintendo is being weird about crediting who develops their games.
I'm glad somebody else is interested in it because I didn't even know this is a thing.
Yeah.
Until this week.
So apparently in the upcoming Princess Peach Showtime, they won't actually reveal the developer until you finish the game, and then you'll find out the name of the developer.
It's not even on the box. It's not like publicly known. You have to beat the game to find out who made it.
Which is weird, and it's not officially confirmed who developed it even now, although some people data mined the demo from the eShop, and have figured out that the game was developed by Goodfeel. But this isn't the first time either. Is it Art Piazza or Arte Piazza? I'm not sure.
Art Piazza.
Art Piazza? Okay. Wasn't credited for Super Mario RPG until you rolled credits on the game. They were even elusive when it came to revealing who the new voice of Mario was after Charles Martinet stopped doing it. What's up with that?
I'm actually not surprised by this news.
Okay.
Because it's Nintendo. Nintendo keeping complete creative control or keeping things in the dark for as long as they can until people learn about it.
Are they trying to create the illusion that they made this game even though another developer did?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think,
Just because they don't want to like anything to not fall under the umbrella of Nintendo?
Oh,
is it that simple?
You mean like, you can only buy the cartridges through us that we manufactured through a side company, and our microchips that are made by us that are manufactured through a side company that we own, control, and you have to pay for.
Yeah, just as...
Nintendo believes in all facets of ownership. They've done that since the NES days. So, like, to me, like, when I saw that you put this in here, I'm like, I'm not surprised.
Well, I mean, they've been treating their fans like dirt under their shoes for decades. You know, of course, it would just make sense that they treat developers the same way.
I mean, we like to crap on like Sony or Microsoft, depending on who they are, but like Nintendo for being the family friendly company is like the scummiest of them all. But we love them for it.
I'll say it doesn't matter. Yeah, it never does.
Right.
I mean, like just read like any of like Jason Schreier's stuff where he talks about them, or the other guy made Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Also, Jason Schreier.
Who's the other one that I'm thinking of? Like he wrote a big ass book.
Is it Jason Schreier?
No, God,
if it's not Jason
Console
Schreier.
Wars. Blake
Harris?
Yeah, Blake Harris.
Oh, okay.
Like read through some of the stuff that like Nintendo was pulling in there. Like,
are you sure it was him and not Jason Schreier?
I'm gonna punch you. But like they openly talk like all throughout the NES era, like, oh, we're only releasing so many games this year for the NES. I know your game is done.
Yeah.
But we're not releasing it.
Right,
it's going to be pushed to next year, and I don't care if it's going to bankrupt your company.
That was where some companies wanted to make like their own third-party cartridges and
EA.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Anyway, I just saw that story and I thought it was worth noting. Like, I feel like so many of us want to give praise to the actual developers, and even though the kids playing these games probably don't care, at least right now, I don't know. It's just something weird that if you're not going to put the developer on the box, you're going to call it a Nintendo game even though you're outsourced. I don't know.
Why, like with Metroid Dread, they were pretty open that Mercury Steam was making it, or is this a new policy with Princess Peach and Super Mario RPG?
Did Metroid Dread not do as well as they had hoped, and they're saying that's why? Because everyone was like, "Well, it's not a Nintendo game."
Well, actually, it did a lot better than they thought.
Did it? Okay, I don't remember the numbers.
Nintendo essentially pulled a George Lucas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Us, not them.
All right, Zach.
Very, very strange.
You got a story you want to talk about?
Yeah, I guess I'll jump over to the partner preview, the Xbox. They showed off a bunch of third-party games. I don't know. You guys could probably just let me know if any of these jump out at me. I think this Unknown 9 game looked kind of interesting. But
this isn't is this the first time they talked about it, or is this?
No, this is like its big re-reveal thing.
Yeah, it's like several years ago or multiple years ago.
It looked kind of cool, but the trailer had a problem where it just kept throwing out nouns that I didn't understand because they're trying to build. They like from the announcement is like this is going to be a huge cross-media franchise. And is often the case when you try to make a massive universe before you try to make your first entry. You're putting way too many seeds in there. I don't know what any of this stuff means.
Right.
But the game itself looks interesting, but I almost feel like it's going to be kind of annoying.
Annoying from what aspect?
Like annoying to try to understand the dense lore that they've no doubt created and don't know how to carefully introduce you to. But that's just the vibes I get.
Kingdoms of Amalur all over again.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Yeah.
That did have a similar problem. I don't know. Do you guys want me to go down this whole list? I don't know what to do here.
I completely forgot that this had happened.
Me, I remembered it happened because there were announcements that really excited me. Like the entire Stalker trilogy is coming out, or came out rather, and is on Xbox and PlayStation. That's awesome. I've always wanted to play those games, but they were not on console, and yet here they are. You get the whole trilogy for $40, or you can get each of the games $20 piecemeal. That's super cool. I look forward to playing those later in the year. And then the confirmation of Persona 3 Reload, the episode I Guess DLC, or as it would be known if you played the original Persona 3, this would be The Answer, which is it's an epilogue to the story. $30 seems a little much, but I will assuredly pay for it.
Yeah, you're gonna get it anyway. I like to see that they had an actual date for Final Fantasy 14, which is coming to Xbox on March 21st. Much as I want to play that game, I'm scared to death to play that game. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen with Baldur's Gate 3 looming over me. And
this would have to be your new Sunday session game if you're
Right.
going to get through it.
it would absolutely have to be, because there's just no way I'm going to add another game like that to my pile. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, I think I was hoping for a little more from this. I'm not saying that the things here aren't great by any stretch of the imagination. Just I don't know, the fact they called it a partner program. I was hoping for, in the wake of the last deal where they were rumored to have been going, on the publishing side and stop doing hardware. I felt it was like a prime time for them to make some big announcement to kind of make everybody forget that, even though they already have. So I don't know.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're moving into the season of
Which
big
season is that?
announcements.
Oh, yeah.
The formerly known as E3 season.
Are we still going to call it E3 season, do you think?
I mean,
Us old-
formerly known as E3 season.
Us old timers will.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I'm not
For
calling
sure.
it Summer of Games. That's stupid.
I mean, I don't know. I thought they set the expectations perfectly fair by calling it a partner program. I thought it was a fine showcase.
No. I'm not. I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining. It's just I was expecting a mind blowing thing.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying I think that's a problem people have with any time that somebody does
No,
a
I
video
know.
like this. They're always waiting to have their mind blown, but sometimes it's not.
No, I know.
about that.
Yeah, well, I
You're
mean,
right.
There's a brand new game from Capcom in here. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The Kunitsu Gami or whatever. I'm not totally sure what it is, because it just looks like a horde mode where you're protecting a princess to me.
Yeah.
but I guess it's kind of harder to be super excited when they're like, hey, it's their job to excite you because these are third-party titles. Like, we're
Why
not
are you
making
guys not
these.
excited about Episode Igus? That's more Persona 3. Come on, guys.
I'm actually excited for the Sinking City too.
That's also cool. That's a brand new game. That we didn't know that was existed before this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Correct.
No.
Didn't
we
know.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
and
There you go.
I mildly enjoyed the first one. So
I never
Second
did
one.
check it out. Looked cool.
I didn't either, but yeah, it did look cool.
I mean, I like the big octopus man. So
Sure, me too. I remember playing the Sinking City at E3, and they accidentally told me the release date. That was funny. Because then their PR person tracked me down on the show floor and said, "Hey, please don't share that release date."
Wow.
And that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm pretty excited to get to Stalker one of these days. I'm sure it will take some time. It's kind of a big year, but I thought it was super. I just think it's super cool. These games, which have been stranded on, I guess not stranded, but they've been on PC only for all these years. It's exciting to finally get to play them.
What's next? What's next up for you, big game wise, after Final Fantasy?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Stellar Blade's coming out in April.
Oh, the game that they put the demo out and then said, "Psych."
Yeah, and then they
Mhm.
patched the PlayStation to make it so you can't play the demo you have downloaded.
Yeah.
Cool.
So weird.
Good
I mean-
stuff. Good to know that they can do that. Good to know they can just wipe things out of your ownership. Good to know.
yeah. I mean, theoretically, I still think System Shock is supposed to get released on console sometime this year.
I will Oh man, I just bought it on Steam, so I'm gonna have to play it there.
Dude, I'm pumped for that. Like, I want to play System Shock remake so bad.
I could just loan you the
I know
Steam
you
Deck.
could.
be super
but
easy.
There's also old games I want to revisit, Scott. So it's just it's a busy year. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
Just trying to play everything.
Plus, when is Cutie Booty Delivery Duty 2 coming?
That will forever make Alyssa laugh when you call.
It
I
Death
know.
Stranding.
probably next year, right?
I wonder if they'll have a Monster
Yeah.
energy drink thing going again. That they'll have to
One can
patch
know.
out.
They'll have to patch out later when they lose a license for the
The
freaking
wo-
energy drink.
The world's really gone to hell, so it's Red Bull this time.
Oh, we found the secret bunker.
Well, last story I want to mention very quickly is more positive in terms of Nintendo. They made a bunch of announcements in celebration for Mario Day, which again is today as of this recording. The big one is that they announced a new Super Mario Brothers movie that is officially in the works. It's set to release on April 3rd, 2026. I think this is no surprise. I think it was inevitable that this was going to happen with the success of the first one.
Yes.
The Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake has a release date of May 23rd. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD has a release date of June 27th. We also got some Mario games coming to Nintendo Switch Online. All 3 Game Boy games, Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, and Dr. Mario. And then also they announced a partnership with LEGO for some Mario Kart sets that are coming in 2025, as well as sets for Bowser's Express Train, King Boo's Haunted Mansion, and Battle with Roy at Peach's Castle. They are just going all in with this Nintendo LEGO stuff, which is pretty cool.
That they're milking it for all they can. And you know what? I stopped buying them after the first 2 waves.
Yeah. They're so simplistic. At some point, it's not even about the building. It's just about it being Mario.
Yeah. I mean, I love
the
LEGO.
block one was cool.
Yeah, I love LEGO, but the problem is, they're not... I wish they would do, more of the, actual build sets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the NES. Give me more of that. Or give me, a brick-built, pixelated Mario.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
I think that would look awesome. And it's
all
the
3D.
But it's the perfect thing to be doing with, the old pixelated Mario stuff. Look, square bricks. We can make this, look like a pixelated Mario. No, we'll keep putting out these play sets and then retire them 8 months later.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the characters in there, they remind me less of Lego and more of like Duplo. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I don't mean to disparage what Lego's doing, but Lego to me was always more about the building, and then you had the little figures in there, but they've made these figures so much larger, and I don't know. Just make a massive Peach's Castle.
Yeah. I mean, they make them larger and larger.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
Seems showing a Bowser.
I love my Bowser
thing today.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically that is part of the lineup because it is usable with the Mario character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's got the hidden POW block and everything. But then when you look at the rest of the Bowser kids and everything, they're the same size as the Bowser in the actual sets.
Right.
I'm it would have been just cool. Just give me minifigs, man.
So I'm not crazy. This Mario Golf and Mario Tennis on Game Boy, these are the RPG ones, right?
I thought
you actually play
the Mario
story.
The Mario
Golf
the Mario Golf is just the golf one that's on Game
Boy. I think that one was Game Boy Advance. Where it was the RPG one.
I retract my hell yeah then.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought you were...
Isn't standard Dr. Mario for the NES already on Nintendo Switch Online?
Yeah, why would you...
So let's play the crappier version.
I was going to say, the Game Boy one was not a great... I'm not a big Dr. Mario fan anyway, but...
Dr. Mario's great. You shut your mouth.
I'm not a fan, but...
They should release that Mario Golf game with the story. That one was good.
It was.
That's
Is that one not already out? I remember the GameCube one being really good.
Yeah.
Oh, Toadstool Tour?
Yeah, that one I played a lot. I haven't played a good golf game in a while. I need to go back to that.
It was last one. What, the golf?
Yeah, the golf was pretty stellar.
That's pretty good.
I'm actually
golf, and then what's the multiplayer one that we were playing there for a bit that I fell asleep in?
Golf with Friends.
Golf with your friends.
Yeah, Golf with Friends.
I love that.
I was super tired that night, man.
Oh, dude, this is right. I gotta play that golf story game.
Oh man, that's
came out a few years ago.
Yeah, if you like Mario Golf on Game Boy Advance,
it's
Golf Story is great.
That game's a real gem.
Yeah, man. I know I own it. I'm gonna go re-download it. I think after this.
I'm also excited about Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. Yes, it's another remake, but I haven't played that one since launch, and I would really like to play that one again. I could just play it on GameCube.
This one's weird to me because when I look at it, it doesn't look different.
Yeah, Mario RPG looked different, but this one looks about the same.
Right, it's just because the Papercraft's aesthetic is kind of timeless.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to make it look better.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm to this day, I'm still surprised that with the remakes and everything, release them on Mario Day, not random other day.
I mean, they got to do something, right?
It's just what like
I was just
the timing is perfect, and they're like, no, it's coming out in 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, again, we were all, or not all of us, but some of us were hoping for like, announcing a new Mario game or something like that. But yeah,
it's not time yet.
Not on this
absolutely.
console generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we just, you know what, Nintendo? I don't care, Mario Day, whatever day. If you could just keep churning out these remakes, can we get Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Switch already?
Right?
What is going on?
When is Zelda Day?
Yeah, that's true.
Whenever
Link Day, the 1st of November. L1NK.
Whenever the Switch 2 comes out, that's when you're gonna get them.
Probably.
Cool.
All right.
I look forward to probably paying $60 for it.
Before we move on, I want to remind everybody that we are an independently funded podcast, which means we do pay for our podcast hosting services and website on our own, which is why we have a Patreon page where fans can help contribute monthly to help offset the cost of production, as well as allow us to give back to the community. If you'd like to help, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. $1 a month will get you the episode a day earlier than everybody else. $3 will get you a bonus episode. $5 will get you 2 bonus episodes. And CB, you want to let everybody know what people can check out right now from our current catalog?
We have a new Peace of Mind episode that I am sad that I missed because I had a good one.
Did you?
Yes, I did. It's with Zack, Alyssa, and Scott. Because remember, we were supposed to record it.
Yeah, and everybody kept
you were
getting
like,
sick.
I'm tired. Then we also had new Meet the Patrons, Scott's online Borderlands crew.
Even though we're not playing Borderlands anymore.
Yeah, I was like, Scott's online crew.
They'll forever be branded with the Borderlands crew label.
Probably.
Upcoming, though, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth spoiler cast with Scott, Zack, and Brandon Smith. Another trade-off with Kevin and Scott, Paper Mario, N64, and Evolution, the World of Sacred Device on Dreamcast.
Yeah, I'm going to finish up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and then just jump right back into another expansive JRPG from the Dreamcast era.
Again, still want to do some retro stuff, man, but you play games with everybody but me. And then Break the Seal, Lone Ranger, or Sands of Time, possibly.
I got to go back and finish Sands of Time. I keep getting distracted. That game is pretty good. Again, if you'd like to check out any of those or any of our... It's very good.
Selling it very short.
It's okay. It's just like the Lone Ranger is... it's mediocre.
I mean, that one, I will not try to sell somebody on saying that game is a great game.
You tried to sell me for years on that game.
Did you
it
play
looks
it?
friggin' awesome on the back of the box.
I played it with you, and I'm like, it's okay.
Oh, dude, I love that game. I'm going to go play that game right now.
The artwork on the copy Scott bought me, it's beautiful. I just look at it sometimes.
That's great.
Love it.
Anyway, if you'd like to have access to any of that content, which includes all of our back catalog, and we've got a link on our website that kind of walks you through and shows you all the episodes and catalogs them, thegamingoutsider.com. But if you want to sign up, it is patreon.com/thegocast. And now let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. All right, Zach, what is coming out on the horizon this week?
Sure thing. Outcast: A New Beginning, reimagining the sci-fi franchise, comes to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC March 15th. Hades, the roguelike darling, finally intriguingly makes its way to iOS, although only for Netflix subscribers, March 19th.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's insane to me.
Dude, Netflix buying up them rights.
I was going to say, the Grand Theft Auto trilogy on iOS is only through Netflix now.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Netflix sucks. Xbox exclusive Hi-Fi Rush comes to PS5 March 19th. Lightyear Frontier comes to Xbox Series consoles and PC March 19th. For you guys, MLB The Show 24 comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and Switch March 19th. Alone in the Dark, the often delayed reboot of the franchise, comes to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, PC March 20th. Allegedly. We'll see if it happens. Then Final Fantasy XIV finally makes its way to Xbox family of consoles on the Xbox Series consoles on March 21st. And then PlayStation exclusive Horizon Forbidden West comes to PC March 21st. on this list. CB, you've been gone a while. Any of these games looking exciting to you?
Yeah, and MLB will not be my first game being played off this list.
I know.
Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throwback to like my childhood.
Dude, I mean, look, I love Alone in the Dark.
Yeah. Dude, I still have my PS1 copies and my 3DO copies.
What about the PS3 reboot when James McCaffrey did the voice?
I have that as well. Dude, I love Alone in the Dark. So yeah. I'm curious to see where this goes.
Zach, you probably won't remember this, but that is one of the earliest conversations I had with you was about the Alone in the Dark remake, which you played on PS3. I think it was also on Xbox 360.
Yeah, I think I played on 360. Was it me defending it that everyone was wrong?
I distinctly remember this conversation because I think you were still you might have still been a teenager at that point. When did this game come out?
16, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it came out in 2007? Is that right? 2008?
Yeah. And I remember having a conversation with you about it, and you said, I think it's a damn fine game. It was the words you said.
Wow. I was surprised that stuck out to you so much.
I mean, yeah. That was even before we were playing Gears of War together. That's how long ago that was.
Well, I was right. It's a damn fine game.
Yeah.
It's a bad rap. A lot of original ideas in that game. Super cool. What about you, Scott? Anything on this list catching your fancy?
A lot, actually. I want to play MLB The Show, like I said, just for the weekend that I play with my buddies up here. Alone in the Dark, just because, for the obvious reasons, I like that style of game, and I'm really curious to see what if it was worth the delays. And Final Fantasy 14, clearly, I'm interested in after hearing our friend over at Quest Markers talk about this game like crazy.
Oh yeah, Marina Ryan. Yeah, she will not shut up about Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, every time we talk to her, she's talking about Final Fantasy 14. It makes me really want to try it, but I just know it's not going to happen.
Maybe if I ever get a normal schedule, Scott, maybe we could do a little weekly session of Final 14.
I would love it, even if it were like on a Wednesday or something. Like just we just have every Wednesday night we get together and play some Final Fantasy 14. Let's do it.
Great.
Final Fantasy 14 is one of the MMO ones, right?
It
Yes,
is
correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, Scott. I would love to watch you play. Let's see what happens.
I've never
I think
played
like the
an
first
MMO.
80 hours of it or something is you don't have to pay the subscription fee to access, which is cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And Scott, the guy who's like deathly afraid of MMOs.
I'm so afraid of them. But
That's why we would have to do a piecemeal. That's the only way I would get through it too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I could stand playing an MMO for that like several hours straight personally.
Right.
Like I don't think I could do 5 hours a night of an MMO and keep my sanity.
I mean,
What
I
about
didn't
you?
think I would be able to sit down for 5 or 6 hours of a turn-based game like Baldur's Gate either.
Yeah, but you're doing that
And-
weekly is what I'm saying. Weekly I could do it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying if I was trying to rush through a Final Fantasy 14, I don't know if I could do that.
Right. Gotcha.
Alyssa, what about you? Anything on this list? Are you alone in the dark in it as well?
Yes, I've actually never played an Alone in the Dark game, so this would be my first time playing one. But I just want to experience a good horror game, and I hope it's good, and maybe it won't be delayed again.
Yeah, that's what I assume they were safe. But yeah, let's make it 4 for 4, guys. Alone in the Dark is absolutely the game I'm most interested in here. I do think Outcast kind of looks cool, especially because I think you have to like learn the alien language slowly over the course of the game, which sounds kind of interesting. And also you have a jetpack, so you're dark voiding around. But yeah, Alone in the Dark looks cool. Every time I see David Harbour's face, it makes you want to play it a little bit less. But he just doesn't make me think of Edward Carnaby at all, the character as I know him. But yeah, I want to play it. And the demo was cool that they released a few months ago.
Yeah, it was.
So
I
I'm
didn't play it,
intrigued.
so this is when
It
I
was
would
only
just have
about
to go in.
15 minutes long or so.
Yeah, but I look forward to playing this at some point.
There you go. Zach, you have been playing a newer game though. A newer game.
Newer in quotes.
Ish. But Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, when this got announced, I feel like you were pretty giddy with anticipation. I only played the first one a little bit back in the day. I had some fun with it, but didn't love it. Tell me about what you're playing on PS5 here.
Oh, you didn't love it? Why not? Now you're seeing that kind of multiplayer game?
I think so. I don't remember the mechanics of it. I don't remember how it works in terms of, because I was all where I wanted even playing fields, and I don't remember if this game does that or not.
Well, Star Wars Battlefront. I was the perfect age for the prequel trilogy, right? To be, every facet of my life, as it were.
Yeah.
I was first person in line at my theater to see Revenge of the Sith.
Nice.
I was in the paper. But anyway, Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, these are mostly multiplayer games, and the general gist of it is each side, the rebels and the Empire, you have reinforcements for every map you're on. And basically, every time you kill a human player or a AI controlled enemy, it takes one of the reinforcement things down. But on the map are different spawn points or control points, and if you take them over, your team can spawn there, and you go further into enemy lines. You're trying to take over their territory essentially. So maybe that's why you're frustrated, Scott, because if you start losing, you really got to rally to push back. So it can feel a little one-sided in that way. Because a team steamrolling you, it can be hard to find the energy. And if you get all of the control points on the map and the enemy doesn't take one back in the next 20 seconds, you lose. Or they lose. So you can win by just taking over the control points or eradicating the enemy forces. What's cool about Star Wars Battlefront, though, is first of all, I think that game mode is fun for myself. Because I like the idea of, like, we're down to one control point. Let's everybody defend that and try to push back out. It's cool because you also have the different character classes, kind of like a Star Wars or like a Battlefield game. You have your engineers and your snipers and stuff like that, and you're locked into just what the weapons are for that class. You can't pick anything up, say, in the Battlefield.
Sure.
So
sounds like it's kind of like closing the circle before, Fortnite and all that was a thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's doing it organically instead of actually closing a circle.
Right. Yeah. It's fun, and then the maps. I always thought they were very varied. Well, a terrible sentence. Because sometimes you have a tight little map like Mustafar, which is just a bunch of kind of narrow railways over the lava.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of, like, you're going to be forced to see enemies all the time and kind of get bottlenecked and stuff like that. But then you have, big maps like Yavin where you have, little tanks on the ground, and so you can pilot them around that way, or they're just straight up space battles where you have different capital ships facing off against each other, and you have to, like, destroy their shields so that way you can dock inside, and then you can destroy their, turret mainframe or whatever, so that way you can bomb it from the outside. And it does an excellent job of making you feel like you're in those war scenes from the Star Wars games.
It seems like you really enjoyed these games, because I don't see you often smile as much as you are while you're talking about a game. Like, I'm not gonna say you're giddy, but I wish everybody could see, like, I can tell you love these games growing up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was such a mainstay with me and my friends, and you would play, whether online or split screen. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 especially was just such a well-rounded game, and it introduced. Because the first game was just, you're playing as foot soldiers, which is a cool fantasy, right? But
mm-hmm.
in the second game, if you do well enough, you can unlock the ability to play as a hero character. So you can play as Obi-Wan or Boba Fett or Darth Vader. You could just really go in there and just tear people apart. And, they really got to coordinate their efforts if they're going to have a hope of killing you. And it just made every match fast and fun. And and the matches are over usually in like 10 minutes or less.
Right.
Which is cool. So you're constantly rotating through the maps and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible amount of fun. And Star Wars Battlefront 2, frankly, Battlefront 1 probably doesn't even need to be in this collection. You're probably going to spend most of your time with Battlefront 2 because it's just Battlefront 1, but with more stuff.
Oh,
okay. So unless you really just hate the idea of fighting Jedis, you really don't need to play a lot of Battlefront 1. But it's good it's here. But Battlefront 2 also has a story mode, which the mechanics of are not super exciting because you're mostly just playing on the multiplayer maps with a bunch of AI bots.
Oh.
But each one has these like war journal entries from a clone trooper. And it's interesting because they just get progressively sadder as the game goes on and more mournful as they start talking about, like, yeah, this is, Ayla Secura. I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for her. I hope when we killed her, her death was swift.
Wow.
That's, just
dark.
Because she earned that. And then as the clone troopers that you're playing as, they morph into the Vader's 501st Legion during the, after the Empire rules, and then there's just kind of a lot of regretfulness in the life they were forced to live as clones turned stormtroopers. So what I'm saying is, like, there was like The actual gameplay is just fine. It's just more of the multiplayer stuff against bots. But like the story is weirdly sad with this war journal stuff. So Battlefront games are definitely worth checking out. But here in this Aspire collection, 64-player multiplayer matches.
What was it before?
I don't remember. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I don't remember it being that big.
Yeah, I don't feel like it would have handled it. That was original Xbox and PS2, right?
Right, yes. 64 seems hard to believe for that age, but it is 64 here. And that's what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So are there enough, is 64 enough to not have like bots on the screen? Like you're talking about, like, can it be everybody?
I'm playing, full context, I'm playing with an early access code from Aspire.
Mm-hmm.
So in this review context, they have dedicated servers set up for reviewers to play, but the most I played it with is like 4 people.
Oh, wow.
So mostly, because I don't know how many codes went out, and, it's not like there's a giant text group for us all to meet up, Right,
what I mean? Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So just kind of at the whim. I would assume 64 would be enough to where you're never going to face a bot. Because, I don't know. I don't feel like I ever even see 32 enemies at once usually,
right?
Let alone 32 human enemies. But if it works as promised, I mean, this is going to be incredible. It'll be an incredibly fun way to spend a lot of time, because this is what I've been enjoying most, Scott, is that this is really harkening back to the good old days of video games. Do you remember when you played multiplayer games just because they were fun?
Right. Yeah. Not because you were like trying to achieve something.
I'm not trying to progress to get the weapon that'll finally make the game fun. I'm not trying to get my battle pass login for the day. I'm just playing this because it's a hell of a lot of fun.
How does it translate to modern consoles?
Mostly good. So Aspire's never, they've never tried to trick anybody. These aren't really remasters.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of like the textures are a little smooth up, I want to say, but really it's the resolution is the difference, because it's basically just SD. These games came out on PS2, right? So they weren't high definition, and they are now. But they are the games as you remember. The menus are the same. The cumbersome save system for saving your single player progress is still there. It is exactly the game you remember. Only for whatever reason, I cannot invert my y-axis.
That's maddening,
and it's driving me crazy. I can adjust, especially because the game you can change the different settings for multiplayer matches, but you can have like sticky aim on that kind of helps you, which is nice. But if it's not there, I'm pretty much screwed. But what I don't understand is I can't remember if the original game had invert y-axis or not. I just truly can't. And even if it didn't, though, they added new stuff here. Like they added a colorblind filters, which aren't very helpful, by the way, for a colorblind guy. And but they also had like a streamer mode. So they did add a few things, and they added in DLC characters that were only on the Xbox before, are here. And they the mode where you play as just the hero characters, so like just the Jedis and Boba Fett and stuff. That used to only be allowed on Tatooine because it was the only map kind of like big enough with ground characters to support it.
Mm-hmm.
But now they just unlocked it so you can use it on any map.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
They did add some stuff and change some stuff here. So what I'm saying is, I understand you want to preserve the game as it was, and I might understand that. Okay, the game didn't let you invert the y-axis, sure, but you did add like a streamer mode, so you can add stuff. So, and I feel, I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the world, but I feel like I could have found the invert y-axis option, unless it's hidden somewhere weird.
Right.
I cannot find it for the life of me.
Just so you know, Zach, I looked it up. PS2 could only handle 24. The
Wow.
Xbox could handle 32, and on Windows it could handle 64.
Okay, so when I get in these 64-player matches, it's gonna be a brand new experience for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's got to be map dependent. There's no way Mustafar can handle 64 people. You guys would just be jumping on top of each other like Mario.
It'll just
be fun
chaos.
to see.
It would be utter chaos. But this is the good old days of multiplayer lobbies where you could stick around with the same group forever. You don't have to matchmake with strangers every time.
That's cool.
So you could actually, develop friendships with people.
Yeah, I don't think that happens anymore.
You can't. There's no way for it to, right?
Right.
It sucks.
Well, I mean, yes and no, because you can go into the menu. I know you can go into the menu on Xbox. I don't know if you can do it on PlayStation. but you can go to like recently played with,
Right.
and just be like, play with this person again.
But that's not as smooth
No.
as it was in the Gears in the famous Gears of War lobbies that we're always talking about, daydreaming about. Oh, one last thing though. There's a game mode called Galactic Conquest,
and
it's like fuses this shooter gameplay with a board game, and it's so much fun. So you basically, it's like a star system, right? And you and your enemy will start at opposite ends of it, and your job is to you each have planets you can attack or defend, and you kind of have to pick where you're going to send your flotilla, and then you end your turn, and they get to decide where to send theirs, and you're trying to conquer different planets along the way, because how many planets you own gives you how many credits you have for each round.
It's north and south in Star Wars.
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
And the credits dictate what kind of units you can use, or you can pay for the ability to have your Jedi character unlocked for the next mission, or you can be like, okay, I'm going to have better armor this way, but then they have the same ability to spend their credits however they want, and it's just this really incredibly fun back and forth turn-based way to play a shooter game.
Yeah,
it's a great deal of fun.
That's cool, man. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. You recommending? I mean, I feel like
I can only approach this from the angle of a teenager who played endless hours of this game. There's no real way to approach this without subjectivity involved. But I do think if you're annoyed at how every game wants you to dedicate yourself to it like it's a full-time job, this is a great antidote for that. And if you love Star Wars, then these are better than the EA Battlefronts by a country mile.
Yeah, I didn't like those that much.
Yeah,
at all.
These
is it cross-platform? Do you know?
I should have checked. I'm sorry, I do not know.
Because it'd be fun to hop in there, squat up a little bit or something.
Play a little bit, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I think. Maybe you'll like Battlefront 1 more than me. For me, it just felt like Battlefront 2 replaces the need for Battlefront 1. Although I would have been annoyed if they had just released Battlefront 2. So I see why they did this.
Sure.
Yeah, pick it up.
I got another couple reviews for you. I sat down with Rel and Sean, who talked about a couple games for us. I'm going to play that for you guys right now. I'm joined here by my good friends. First off, Rel, how you doing, man?
Hello from the land of sleep deprivation.
Yeah, Rel walked into this call rubbing his eyes and talking some crazy talk, but I appreciate you stopping by to talk to us today, man. Also joining us, Sean Coates. It's been a while, man. How you been?
It's been all right. The year started off kind of crappy. I got Rona 1 week into the new year. My first time ever getting it.
That's no fun, man. Well, hopefully you've recovered.
Oh yeah,
being March and all that, and spring's coming, so then summer and colds, and it's just a vicious cycle, right?
Cold? What is that? I don't know what you're talking about out here.
Yeah, as he wipes his brow. All right, well, we got a couple games to talk about. I'm going to start with you, Rel. This game that you're playing called the Thaumaturge. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Thaumaturge? I think so, yes.
Thaumaturge. First off, I got to say this game was provided to us by Evolve PR, and I've already let them know, but I'm gonna say it again. This review is a little delayed because you had some video card issues, right?
So my video card had kind of off and on problems with green and purple artifact rectangular thingies on the screen, and then at one point it became so frequent that I decided, you know what, I'm going to send this into MSI to fix it. So I send it in. They send it back after a week or so. I plug it back in and start playing video games. The very next day, everything crashes and artifacts everywhere, and I send it right back to them.
Yikes.
So yeah, that was another week without my graphics card, and so far hasn't had any issues. If it does have any issues, I am done with MSI forever. They are dead to me.
There you go.
This is why I like console over PC. No offense, Rel.
This is why I have everything.
Yeah,
Fair
right.
enough.
I have everything but PC. My closest PC I got is a Steam Deck.
And I just got a PS5, so I'm all in now. So
there you go. Well, let's talk about the game itself. This comes from developer Fool's Theory, and the publisher is 11-Bit Studios. And like I said, apologies to Evolve PR for the delay, but Rel could not play the game until this past week, so that's why it took so long to get this out here. So first off, can you explain? Because they don't even mention it in the trailer. They just assume in the trailer that you know what a thaumaturge is, and I don't. So what is that?
Well, in terms of the traditional definition, I don't know.
Okay.
In terms of the game, the protagonist, Victor Shulsky, can essentially bond himself to possibly malevolent, but sometimes just malevolent-looking evil spirits called Salutors, and he can, the part of the game is finding these Salutors by resonating with various objects and reading the emotional history behind them and perceiving the flaws that are present in them. And you basically the gameplay boils down to walk around the environment, click on a bunch of things, get a lot of lore about who owned these things and what was their emotional state when they were using them. And then Victor pieces together these tidbits into more concrete facts about these people and their lives.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And the perspective is what kind of stood out to me in those walking sections that you're talking about, because it's like isometric, but it has a pretty heavy angle. Like it's not top down. It's not quite like a perfectly diagonal isometric view, but am I describing that correctly? Like it's almost top down, but not quite.
I mean, it's 3/4 isometric. It's
Sure.
It's your I don't know about standard, but it's like your Disco Elysium type perspective.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
But then
Metal Gear on the NES. That's what it sounds like.
I thought Metal Gear on the
old school
NES was. I thought it was top down.
Or
Yeah, that was pretty straight top.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No,
So it also looks like there's a little bit of turn-based combat, if I'm understanding correctly, which I've not played Pokemon, but you've got like some beasts that like you kind of have at your side that are not quite as friendly as Pokemon.
a lot of other reviews that I've looked at for this game have mentioned Pokemon. This is closer to Persona. These are not cute and cuddly monsters. These are demons. These are not the kind of things that you would show to a little kid and they would want a plushie of them. No. These are...
I do.
Well, I mean, you could make them cute, but as rendered in game, no. But yeah, no, there is turn-based combat. Victor is not exactly the nicest of people. His flaw is pride. And so he does have the option of making some very rude comments if you like. You can avoid feeding your flaw, but the game does reward you if you do. And so it's kind of a mix between, do you want to play into it for the sake of getting certain bonuses, or do you want to role play as someone who is not falling victim to pride? And so, let's say you make mad a couple of toughs in the local village or somewhere around Warsaw. It goes into a turn-based combat sequence. Victor can make an attack as well as his Salutor, and it has the little action bar at the top where people can see okay, this move takes this amount of time, but the enemies are going to attack over here, so can I do something within that time frame to kind of knock them off balance? So it has a little bit of planning involved.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I just like the tone. I mean, the trailer is very ominous. It's it's told from Victor's. Is it Victor, right?
Yes,
Victor's
spelled with a W, but pronounced with a V.
Victor. I'm reminding of Star Trek when he tries to say. But I just love. I'm so used to turn-based games having like a fantasy setting, and this one is not modern times like today, modern times, but it takes place in Poland if I remember correctly.
Well, sort of. Poland, as they mentioned in the game, Poland has not existed on a map for about 100 years as of 1905. There's a lot of Slavic history that is a little lost on me and possibly a lot of people, only because, we didn't grow up learning this history, but it's very present in the game. And so it's as much a history lesson of what that region was kind of like at the time, in addition to an actual factual video game.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So are you digging this game?
I really enjoyed it. I do want to say it's similar to Disco Elysium in terms of not just the perspective, but also the style. It's very much walking around a fully realized city with a lot of fully realized people, and poking at everything and picking up everything and getting little story tidbits about what life is like in this era, as well as this region of the world, and all the inhabitants living there. However, it's not the same as Disco Elysium. The tone is much more serious, sort of grim, whereas Disco Elysium could be very silly.
Oh, okay.
Like even slapstick silly, to the point that I think back to some things that you could do in Disco Elysium, and it's just like, it still brings a smile to my face. This game is more like the country is under occupation, effectively, or occupancy rule, and a lot of people don't like it, but they still want to get on with their lives. Victor's dad is dead. The death of his dad is the mystery that kind of drives the main story. So it's much more serious in tone. And the combat adds a little bit extra to it, but I also don't think that it was largely necessary, only because it has that same system where after each combat, your resources all get restored to full, like your health and whatnot. So it's like with random battles, they kind of don't matter. And then the only thing that really does matter is the boss battles, which are pretty good. But it's like, why am I fighting against these random dudes on the street when, the only thing that I get is they realize they shouldn't mess with me.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has its ups and downs, but ultimately I really enjoyed it. It's really good for anybody that wants that kind of game where you just dig into the bones of this old city, where just people are living their lives, and it's such a wildly different time to what we know, and yet there's still the same kinds of problems and people trying to work through those problems and just live their lives.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like a fascinating experience. I'm intrigued, and I keep seeing advertisements for it, so I think they're marketing a lot better than I would have expected. So, thanks again, man, for checking that out. Again, the game is called the Thaumaturge. You're playing this on PC. I believe that is the only platform it is on currently.
I thought it was on console, but maybe it's not coming out to console yet.
Gotcha. Growth mindset. It's not coming out yet. Well, moving on, Sean, let's talk about Cartel Tycoon. Yes. You're kind of our resident, simulation tycoon gamer here over at the Gaming Outsider.
Along with racing too, yeah.
Yeah, racing, and you and Mark both like racing games, so we've got that. But you seem to love this style of game more than anybody else,
right?
This is developed by Moon Moose. It was published by Tiny Build, and shout out to Stride PR for hooking up with a copy of this so we could check it out.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about these. I don't get into these games a whole lot. I mean, I played some Civilization back in the day, obviously SimCity, but I've never played even like Roller Coaster Tycoon, which I know you did before, but. Mm-hmm. This is an interesting spin where you're playing, a drug cartel. So talk to me about it.
Yeah, it's Narco Simulator. However, I've come to the realization that there's actually a subgenre within the simulation genre that I'm not a fan of.
Oh. And
unfortunately, this game falls into that category. It's more. I like games where you can create things like a theme park or a city or a zoo where like you have to face the problems that you created by building something wrong or something. But
sure,
Cartel Tycoon, along with another game I reviewed, if you remember, Startup Company, that like tech.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that. Unfortunately, this game kind of has more in common with Startup Company than it does with, say, SimCity.
So it's more like running a business instead of actually like...
It's a business
reading.
simulator rather than a creative, not a lot of creativity. That's what I thrive on within this genre.
Okay. So you're basically, it's just like a lot of spreadsheets and lots of conversations with other...
It's a lot of menu diving. You are placing things like here's your... It takes place in a fictional Latin American country, but we'll call it Colombia, right? It's set in the 1980s, so it's straight out of an episode of Narcos. There's actually a campaign where it's split into 5 different isolated stories, kind of like an anthology campaign where each chapter is a different cartel member across all these different territories within this fictional Colombia.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm trying to plow through it as best as I can, but also at the same time, I'm also distracted by the fact that I just got a PlayStation 5, so I'm kind of trying to balance that out.
Sure.
But it took me 5 or 4 days to get through the tutorial.
Wow.
Like that's how complicated this thing is. So at first I was like, oh, this is way too complicated. I don't know how I feel. Plus, not to mention, it doesn't give me the creativity side that I crave with like SimCity and whatnot.
Sure.
So I was ready to, I don't like it, but I gotta finish it for the sake of the review. But then I'm actually kind of discovering, I found a click. I found something that kind of, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. Because this tutorial, this 5-6 hour tutorial tells you like everything you gotta do. And I got so concerned that it's so complicated that when you do the actual main campaign, I'm gonna forget it all because it's so much to take in.
Right.
But thank goodness there is a little like, here's how you do this. Remember, don't forget. A little refresher, and it keeps a little. You can pin the objectives to the screen at all times to kind of keep you on track.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, though, it is a lot of menu diving, and the menus aren't quite clear. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the objectives was build 3 farms to grow the product, build a warehouse to store it, and then build a processing plant to turn it into illicit substances, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I built 3 farms, built the warehouse, did this, but the objective wasn't catching. And it took me literally about 15 minutes to realize that it said to build the farms with dirty money. You have 2 different accounts, dirty money and laundered money.
Oh, interesting.
And you have to take your lieutenants have to physically take the dirty money to one of your fronts that you own to turn it into laundered money. So it adds a complicated layer of being able to grow your empire with legit money. But if you spend too much on dirty money, you'll get the attention of the cops and the federales and la policia,
Sure.
But so back to I built those farms realizing I used clean money when I should have spent dirty money on those farms. And I didn't realize
why you spend dirty money.
Because that was the objective. But I just built the farm like by default and not realizing that didn't trigger the next objective. So I encountered a lot of little situations like that. That's just one example.
Okay. My question is these types of games usually, at least I assumed, are played on PC.
Right.
You're playing this on Xbox,
mm-hmm.
which, unless you have a mouse and keyboard on your Xbox, which I assume you don't.
I do not.
You're going to be using this with a controller. How did that translate to controls using a controller instead of mouse and keyboard?
That's what I will say this does very well. Every game like this, I've reviewed several of these types of games on console, which usually you'd think would be PC. They all seem to have come to an understanding about how to do that conversion, kind of like how every first-person shooter follows a similar button layout across the board. So same thing, like they found a way to do it, and they're all sticking with it, and it works fine.
Okay.
Radial menu systems. A is confirmed, B is back out, X is a special, like that kind of thing. They all found the language and they're embracing it.
So I know you're kind of learning that this style of game isn't for you, but are you still seeing that this is a quality product?
Absolutely.
Are you seeing any issues? Okay.
No,
so even though it's one that you're not a big fan of.
Right, but technically it works great. This was actually, speaking of, you're right, this was a PC game. This was on early access on Steam 2 years ago. Got its 1.0 release a year ago, and then it just came to console this time around.
Nice. Again, that is Cartel Tycoon. You're playing it on Xbox. Like you said, it was on PC. It's not coming to consoles, so you can check it out wherever you want if you're into those style of games. Is there any like morality things that come up with this? Like, you're doing an illegal activity.
Yeah, but you gotta cleanse. It's like playing a Scarface game, but on the management side rather than the shooty bang bang side.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Very cool.
To coin a phrase y'all came up with.
Yeah. All right, Sean. Well, thanks so much for checking that out. I do appreciate that. But I'm going to let you guys go. Rel and Sean, thank you so much for stopping by. This is awesome as always.
Mm-hmm.
And hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too, sir.
Later.
Thank you, gentlemen. Real quick, want to give everybody some quick housekeeping and remind you that we do have Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. You got a Discord server. There's a link in the show notes for that. Also, our website, thegamingoutsider.com. You can find all of our episodes there, as well as our written content. And Spencer came back and wrote a review for a demo for a game called Brews and Bastards. Apparently, he's my go-to whenever we have a game that is centered around drinking alcohol. And so you can check out that review on the website for sure. With that, though, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. It should come as to no surprise that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was the inspiration for this week's topic. That game has more mini-games inside it than WarioWare at this point. So we wanted to talk about other times where we've seen full-blown new game modes inside the games that we're already playing. Before we get to the specifics, I want to see what you guys, what's your take on when games do this. Do you enjoy the distraction, or would you rather just get on with the story already? CB, what do you think?
I like having options.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely fun to be playing something and like have like a different game to play. Sometimes be like, okay, well, I need a break from this boomer shooter to play a different boomer shooter inside my boomer shooter. So I like having it there. The problem is when the essentially mini game inside the game is better than the actual game.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a problem when I'm like, I would just rather play this than play this. So
gotcha. What do you think, Alyssa?
I'm actually not the biggest fan of mini games. I don't mind them like too much, but I'm the kind of person that I'll play them once if it's required to like play it at least one time in the game, and then just never play it again. I move on. I just prefer to play a game straight through. Relatively speaking, I mean, I am the kind of person I'll do side quests and stuff, but I don't know. Mini games don't usually grab my attention or entice me to want me to keep playing. I can't speak. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I never got into mini games and games.
You strike me as a person that doesn't want to be distracted from the story, and I don't mean that like I'm talking down to you at all.
I'm very much a story person, so.
Right. Zach, how about you, man?
Love them. Big fan. They often, I mean, FF7, mini games galore. Love it. I think to me, one thing it breaks up the pace a little bit of the constant action or story of a game. It gives you a little something to do, and because it's set in that universe, it kind of strengthens the world building in a small way. Like if I'm playing Pazak and KOTOR, it's fun to know that like, man, I guess this is what people played back then,
right? Yeah,
or back then in the Star Wars universe. It kind of helps flesh out the world, and yeah, it is nice that when I get to a new town in FF7, I'm like, I just got done adventuring. I probably just killed a big boss. It's nice I can just kick back with a little bit of Queen's blood.
Right.
So I love it for a pace breaker. I love it because it gives me something new to think about, and I love it because it usually kind of helps you feel like you're in that world. Because if you're spending the downtime in a setting as well as the exciting times, it helps make the world feel more fully fleshed out.
Do you ever feel like it doesn't work though in terms of, I mean, and I'm not knocking it because I'm enjoying what I'm doing in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but man, we've got this world impending doom going on right now. We got to chase down this Sephiroth guy because stuff is getting real. I'm gonna stop and do a sit-up competition for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yes, it can be a little goofy. I can see what you're saying with the FF7 Rebirth, especially because, like every time I'm playing a Queen's Blood match, I'm like, man, Sephiroth probably just got one step closer.
Right.
And that is, of course, a funny video game way to think about it. But in reality, like, your characters need downtime, right? If you're just trying to try to kill Sephiroth all the time, you're probably getting a little bit insane.
Adventurers need their quality of life time as well.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I really do. If it's, say, a Mass Effect 3, it's probably a little more difficult to believe because, that is really like you're on a clock.
Yeah.
But in something like a Final Fantasy game, you're usually trying to solve the world, but you usually don't know how you're going to do it. So they're kind of looking for answers anyway. So it's believable to me that they would kind of hang out in a town for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as problematic. Now, to your question though, I guess I should jump ahead.
Go ahead.
I was because you said, or would you rather get on the story, already, or if you like it as a distraction? I think, like, for example, FF7 Rebirth, where Queen's Blood is part of the main story path. I think that sucks.
How is it? I must have missed that. How is Queen's Blood part of the story? Oh, you mean where it's like required?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you meant there was like lore within Queen's Blood, but
no, I meant in that you need to play Queen's Blood in order to and win in order to progress the story.
And you, like, win a lot. Like, it's
and I think that sucks because for some people they didn't sign up for a Final Fantasy game to play a card game.
Right.
And now I'm a little less excited now.
Yeah, see, and I think it is perfectly reasonable if people think that that's annoying. I didn't mind it, but I think Queen's Blood kind of sucks.
I have a love-hate relationship with it.
It ain't no triple triad.
It ain't no triple triad. It definitely ain't no Tetramaster. It is because to me, I'm using the same deck I made in the first town, and I win every time. Because I think of I approach Queen's Blood as though it is tic-tac-toe, where all that matters is positioning. The cards don't matter. It doesn't matter what they do. As long as you capture the spot where you can put a card, you'll win every time.
Interesting.
I don't think it's a very deep game. And it has needlessly complex cards that can do a lot of things, but I'm using the cards that have no abilities, and I win every match.
I need to rethink my strategy, because I bought deck after deck, and I've won these crazy, powerful cards, and I struggle with, like, when there was a group that you have to do, the last one always takes me multiple times to get through.
Yeah, I struggled at first, and then I decided, I'll think of it like a board game rather than a card game, and then that helped me. And then when I was really like, it's like tic-tac-toe. You just kind of wait. You need to wait to put your pawns, places. I was like, this is easy as hell.
Okay, that'll make it easier for me.
That's my advice on Queen's Blood.
What's your biggest blowout you've ever had? Do you know?
Like 40 points, I think. 40-0.
I had 40. I had 36. That was my biggest. So, gonna beat me at something again.
I'm in 32. 32-0 is what I meant to say.
For me, I feel like I've got two different eras of opinions of minigames. When I was a kid playing Final Fantasy VII, I absolutely loved every minigame that I could get my hands on. Even though I was obsessed with the story, I had nothing but time. Right? I was playing games to fill in the gaps of of downtime, to try to fill that void with something that was enjoyable. So anything that extended the life of a game was awesome for me. As I'm older and time is more limited, I'm less inclined. But with a game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I want to do all this stuff, but I am in a rush to get through this game because I am obsessed with seeing what they do with this story, because this story has meant a lot to me. If there's a lot of nostalgia behind there, and with the way they ended remake, I am so curious what they're going to do with the end of this one, and to hint at what's going to happen with it's going to be called Reunion, right? Like, it has to be at this point.
I mean, Reunion is the most obvious thing for the third one, but again, they call the Crisis Core Remaster that, and I think that would be weird. Yeah. Call them both Reunion. But I'm with you. Like,
Redemption.
So weird. Revival. I think, FF7's a weird case. You're right, because I want to soak up this world, but also I need to rush through it because I'm so dead afraid of spoilers.
That's part of it too. Is like, and that wasn't a thing we worried about in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like there weren't websites that put on the front page of their websites spoilers in the title and in the picture.
Yeah, there were no IGNs out there ruining your good time.
Right. And I don't know, some of those articles that are like, I saw one the other day that says we need to talk about the ending of Rebirth, like on the front page of their website. At some point, it feels like it's bragging that you've got that game already.
Yeah.
Like that's
Well, I've always felt that way about the big site spoiler cast because, you know, like I remember IGN back in the day, right? They always have the spoiler cast day one, and I'm like, who's that for?
right.
That's for yourself, right? Like that is not for the audience that you're making the content.
Because unless you've got the game early as well and you've put in that 70, 80, 90 hours, you're not going to listen to it. Or are you going to listen to it just and not care about being spoiled? I don't know. So I'm stuck with this one in particular because I'm like you. I want to soak up. I want to do everything. I want to Assassin's Creed this game.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm torn once I finish the game if I want to do that, because normally doing that stuff helps me make the main story easier or makes me feel like a god. And I mean, even, you know, weren't they pull-ups in the original game, not sit-ups? Or did they do sit-ups as well?
Well, they did pull-ups in the remake, the first part. So
did they?
Here it is in sit-ups in this one. What will the third game be, I wonder? What exercise can we look forward to next?
Squats.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Weightlifting.
Weightlifting, something
Just
like
get
that.
swole. I want Tifa to get those big muscles. Throw me around.
Yes.
Sorry.
Muscles.
Yeah.
No, but I am enjoying this. I have issues with Queen's Blood in this one. I really, what was the one I really struggle with? I hate it when they force you to do it. Yes, I would love to be able to just skip these mini games. Again, when I was a kid, going to the Golden Saucer was like a treasure trove of things to do. It was just so much to go around and explore and see and do. And now I'm like almost overwhelmed because I want to see what happens. I don't remember being this obsessed with the game's story in a long time. I'm so intrigued. I have so many questions with the nuggets that they've given us so far. Especially with one character that we're just seeing very tiny segments of. That I just got to know. I have to know. So that's
like watching Lost. It'd be like watching Lost, but they released the whole series at once. You know, you'd have no choice but to just keep going.
Just binge it, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And the throwbacks. I got to stop. I'm going to keep talking.
Here we are, just talking about Final Fantasy VII.
I know. It's not what I intended for this to be. So, what are some memorable moments where you guys got to play a game within a game, whether it be like a mini game or whether it be just a full blown game that's buried inside a game that you're already enjoying? Let's start with Alyssa this time.
Okay, well, being not the biggest fan of mini games, I did enjoy in Judgment, which is a Yakuza spin-off, or like a Dragon spin-off now. You're just playing a detective, and you know they had the arcade where you could play some Sega games in there. But I didn't play those. I went to the claw machine, and I was obsessed with emptying out every single claw machine I could find, getting every single plushie out, because you could decorate your detective office with a certain amount of plushies.
Oh, that's adorable.
And I would change the plushies out, and then when I have clients come in, they're like, oh, there's a detective with a bunch of plushies in his office. And I had to get every single plushie for some reason. Like, my brain was like, you have to get all of the stuffed cats and dogs and pigs and put them in your office. So, that was a goal of mine, and I did it. You didn't, like, you didn't get achievements or trophies or anything, doing that. It was just a personal thing. That's really the only time I could think of enjoying, like, doing a mini game in a game.
Okay. Let's see, Zach, how about you?
Oh man, a few. Well, you know, the last person you play in Queen's Blood during that Force Queen's Blood segment is pretty memorable, or will surely remain memorable.
Yeah.
In the Final Fantasy world, I love there's a Tetramaster tournament at one point in the game, which is that game's version of Triple Triad. And I remember loving that as a kid because you get to this big city and everyone splits up to like go do their own thing, whatever makes them excited. And I don't remember why, I just really love that Zidane just wanted to go play cards in the tournament. I was like, you know what? Because I was probably into Yu-Gi-Oh at that time or something. So I was like, you know what, man, I relate. I get you. That was fun. Pazak, I was obsessed with Pazak in KOTOR, which it's a little bit like blackjack. You're trying to get to the number 20, but you have modifier cards that can subtract or add to your score. But I remember being so obsessed with this, and my friend Chris, that we printed out and we made our didn't print out, but we made our own Pazak cards so you could play at the lunch table.
No way.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool, man.
It was a fun game.
We were in deep. Yeah, it was incredibly fun. You know, I spent about so many hours with Liar's Dice and Red Dead, but that's not a specific moment. I just wish I could play that game for real with people.
What,
I don't remember.
Dice?
Yeah, Liar's Dice.
Dude,
yeah.
Liar's Dice is a lot of fun. It's actually on my list.
I want to play it. And then the last one I thought of that like really like has burned its way into my brain is in Metal Gear Solid 3. There's a part in the game where Snake gets captured in a prison, and it's like 20 minutes of cutscene, and then it asks you to save, which is kind because it's about to be followed by 30 minutes of cutscenes.
Oh yeah.
So it asks you want to save and take a break. If you do take that break and you reload your save, you wake up in a dream Snake is having, and it is a full-blown Devil May Cry style action slasher game.
Wow. I didn't know that.
You're playing as this character that has no relation to Metal Gear Solid at all, just like this has dual katanas, and you just murder a bunch of characters and like splatter blood all over the walls and stuff. But then after like 10 minutes, it just stops and you wake up as Snake, and it was a dream he was having. But they made an entire playable, hack and slash game, basically, over 10 minutes of one, that you would only find if you stopped playing at this particular moment. Which you're probably not going to because you're in the middle of a heated series of cutscenes. You want to see what happens next.
Right.
But just here, have a whole different game right here for no reason.
It's a very Kojima thing to do.
It's such a Kojima thing to do.
Yeah.
But I love that is a game within a game.
Okay.
just tucked in there. Or oh, you know what? No, never mind. I'm not going to say the next one because I'm confident you or CB will say it.
Okay. I just want to comment quick on you were talking about in Red Dead, Liar's Dice. I actually played in the little bit that I did play. Well, a little bit. I put like 12, 15 hours into Red Dead 2. I played a lot of poker just because I like poker anyway.
Uh-huh.
But there is something really cool about playing poker with old cards. You know what I mean? Like they just look weathered, and then like the money is not. When you watch poker, I used to watch poker like on ESPN and stuff back in the day, and you're talking like 10,000s of chips.
Still do.
You know what I mean? But like here, it's like, $50 is a lot of money.
Right. Yeah. You're betting 45 cents.
Right. I just really kind of dug that kind of stuff, and it just felt, I don't know, like old school poker as opposed to, what it became. I know it was way bigger in the late 2000s. But
yeah, poker was a huge deal in the 2000s.
Yeah,
but I mean, Red Dead 2, if you play poker in your camp, like the characters will actually like tease each other and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it actually feels like you're hanging out with friends who've known each other forever.
Oh, that's cool.
Like when the river's getting turned over and Hold'em, they'll make a joke about how Mark's better fold now because he can't swim.
Oh, all right.
They're like teasing each. It's a lot of fun. It's very endearing.
Nice. All right, CD, what's on your list, man?
Ooh, well, Liar's Dice was already mentioned,
mm-hmm.
So I played the crap out of Liar's Dice.
Dude, it's so much fun, right?
Dude, it's a lot of fun. Like I would just like walk into a saloon, sit down, play.
Yeah, 3 hours later.
Yeah, you're like, oh god, have I been playing this long? I've already referenced the fact that Wolfenstein and Doom, you can play the OGs.
Oh yeah, and the remix, you're right.
In the dream states.
That was on my list as well. Yeah,
I love those. Zork in Black Ops,
like
OG Zork is in the original Black Ops.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun because for the longest time, like that's how you could play it. Arcade Paradise, like the game is legitimately nothing but games inside games.
Yeah,
and
they're all original, right?
They're clones. Like,
right.
We'll be honest, they are legit straight up clones. But there is a section in the game where you are playing a game that was created in the game, and inside that game you go into an arcade that looks just like yours, and you can play arcade games in the arcade of the arcade. Like, it's straight up arcade Inception.
Inception, yeah.
And the funny thing is that the one game that you can play inside that arcade is Snake.
Like the game we all played
like
on the phone?
like Nokia
Yeah.
Snake. Like,
Yeah.
it's a little gray and black screen that you're playing, and I'm like, oh look, I can play Snake.
Oh man! Speaking of arcade, shout out to Shenmue, where you can just like play Hang On and Outrun and stuff.
Yeah.
Or not
Yeah.
Outrun, but Space Harrier.
Didn't they do that in what was the other game that was it Tekken that lets you play old Sega games in there as well or something?
Well, I know Yakuza does.
Yakuza, is that what I'm thinking of?
There's a few of them that have done
Yeah.
that. Got a couple more still. Hollow Tactics.
Oh, and Jedi Survivor.
I loved Hollow Tactics. I thought it was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Because it's almost like like a little strategy game, right?
Yep.
Which is cool.
So once you get like, oh, I know this can do this, this counters this. Like, it was definitely a little fun. Once you know how to beat the other people, though, it tapered off real fast.
When you know which units are just demonstrably better.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
But that one was fun because you could face off against your friends in that too, which is cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Watch Dogs. Like, play chess. That stupid drinking game that you could also play.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, look, I'm wobbly. Gotta like sit there and spin the stuff to like right yourself.
Well, I forgot all about the chess, which is fun. But there's also the AR games where you're collecting coins and parkour maps or whatever.
Dude, those are
ridiculous.
Those are a lot of fun. Especially like
right.
the drinking one, because like there was an achievement to like beat all of those. You play darts in there. So yeah, those, like, Ubisoft is really sticks a lot of mini games. And then one that I'm willing to bet nobody else is going to talk about it. A certain mini game that you could play in Far Cry 6.
Far Cry 6. Okay, I didn't play through that one.
Cockfighting?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was like straight up Street Fighter clone.
Oh man.
They actually even had like fight. Like
Yeah, that they caught a ton of flack for, but it was actually legit fun.
Yeah. That's good.
Wow.
Most of mine are old school. Like, I'm going real old school because I don't even know if this counts, but Oregon Trail had this
the
section.
hunting game?
Oh, yeah.
The hunting. That's all I wanted to do when I played Oregon Trail. Give me
Just
dysentery.
murder
Just
the
give me the
buffalo.
hunting game. That's all I wanted. Yeah,
Give
just
me dysentery. That's fine.
yeah. All you needed was one buffalo, and like that was way more
Yeah.
meat than you could carry back or whatever.
But you
But
still
you, like-
slaughtered
But
everything.
then, like, you do this hunting game, then it's like, oh no, Robert suffered from a stray bullet.
I
like,
did that.
No.
Well, it's a shame about Robert, but I got to manifest destiny.
Yeah, and then the next day, it's like, Robert died from his wound being infected. It's like, oh no.
I wonder if there's hope for games being educational ever again. Like, I mean, we all know what that game is. And we all understood that people had to travel from the east of the country to the west, and it was rough. Mostly
Right.
because we played Oregon Trail. You know what I mean?
I mean, they
Mhm.
still make Oregon Trail games.
Yeah, but kids don't play them.
No.
Like, that's all nostalgia.
yeah,
All
well,
nostalgia.
yeah, it's definitely something. Here's the like, what are you going to educate them now? Like, oh, here's a mini game on how to become a YouTube star.
Well, yeah.
Well, they can still learn about the Oregon Trail.
The kids
Right,
don't want to
that
learn
still
about
happened.
Yeah.
that.
Well,
It's
then they're
triggering.
stupid.
It's triggering. I don't want to learn about it.
Yeah. Oh no.
Other ones I've got, do you remember Blades of Steel on NES?
Yeah.
The hockey game? There was a mini game in between each period where you played, because that was Konami, right? What was the Konami Schmacross at the time? was it R-Type?
R-Type, yeah. That was
Well,
big.
there was R-Type, Lifekeeper,
I feel like it was Life Force. I feel like it was,
Life Force, not Lifekeeper.
Yeah, I think that this one was more like a Life Force type game, and it was seriously 30 or 40 seconds of the game, and it was just like a tiny little boss that you would try to take down with that while dodging bullets. It was very rudimentary, but I used to look forward to mid periods when I was playing with my brother, and we'd fight over who got to play
Oh,
the space shooter game.
I literally just had like a light bulb moment. Why don't the people that make like MLB The Show or Madden or any of them have the in between period stuff? Like if you're playing at
like little mini
Miller,
games.
if you're playing at Miller Park, where's the sausage race, man?
Dude, that'd be great.
Like those would be fun little mini games to hide in those games.
Because each park probably has their own.
Oh,
thing
every
that they
park
do,
has one,
right?
Yeah. Well, not only that, but in baseball, in football, in hockey.
Or they always do goofy things like, oh, who can do a half court shot, right? Or we got like,
Dude,
we're going to send somebody down across the ice in an inner tube and see if they can knock over these giant pins.
Why hasn't any of them do? Because it would be perfect sponsorship for people funding these games.
Yeah.
Just
or
be
remember
like,
what
win $50,000 from like X company if you make this half court shot.
Or remember the one they used to do at the Ice Hogs games? Maybe they still do it, like chuck a puck.
They still do it.
Do they? Where like you just throw a puck on the ice and see if you get it. If you like land it on, that would be super fun.
Yeah. Why aren't they doing it?
I don't know. You got a really good idea there, man. I'm surprised nobody's taken off with that.
Yeah, I'll have to contact them and be like, hey man, why aren't you doing this? You're dropping the ball.
This one's a little obvious, but Super Mario Brothers 3 had the original Mario Brothers buried into it if you play with two people. Remember that? Where if you like met each other on the map, then you just like faced off, and then whoever won got to play the next guy.
Mario Brothers 3 has more than just that.
I know, but that was the one that I played a lot.
Oh, dude, I would fight my way through the boards to get so I could play the matching game.
Oh well, yeah. I mean that.
The matching game was fun.
I'm hearing that music in my dun 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 dun. I'm gonna have that.
Or the spinning slot.
The spinning, yeah. How about Project Gotham Racing 2, which was the birthplace of Geometry Wars?
There it is. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah. And
that game rules.
Geometry Wars was so much fun. The psychedelic explosions and everything.
A loading screen so good they had to turn into a game.
Yeah. Celeste had its own original game buried inside it. I don't know how many of you played Celeste all the way through, but there you come across this little computer monitor because Celeste originally was like a game jam game. Like it was, and it was even more rudimentary. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but Celeste is very pixelated. But it was even more pixelated in the original. And if you go in there, you get to actually play the full original game, which was just climbing a mountain straight up. But the mechanics were very similar, and it was hard. It was hard, but I did complete it, so that was really cool. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3 had the original Star Wars arcade games inside them, like the vector graphics ones. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Sands of Time has the original 2 Prince of Persias inside of it.
Does it really? Is that on the Steam version too? I wonder. Did you have to unlock it, or
you do have to unlock it? You unlock Prince of Persia 1 by beating the game, and then you can find Prince of Persia 2.
Oh, okay.
And the PS2 version didn't have Prince of Persia 2, but it did have a full 3D recreation of the original Prince of Persia level that you could find.
Oh wow,
as a bonus.
That's kind of cool.
It was super cool, yeah.
And my last one was Uncharted 4. You got to play Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah.
Which I never played the full game of Crash Bandicoot as a kid. I just played the demo. So like we had like a demo disc where you got to play that one level. You know how you get those little ones that were in the magazines, whatever.
Yep.
PlayStation Underground.
Oh man, those were the days. Oh, what a way to sell magazines, by the way.
Still have that demo disc, by the way.
Do you?
Because the also had Medieval.
Yes.
I'm convinced that's the only reason I know what Parappa the Rapper is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so like it was kind of fun because you didn't get to play very much of that, so it reminded me of being a kid, but I just got to play that little bit of Crash Bandicoot. So that is my list, and that's our topic. That was a fun topic, and Zach, thanks for the inspiration, or should I say thanks, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for the topic idea. We got some.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, we got some comments from the community as well. We're gonna start over on Facebook. CB, why don't you kick things off?
Well, Brandon Smith writes in, I tend to be a completionist when I play games, so I always try to play all the mini games. If nothing else, just to see what they're all about. but if the rewards are worthwhile, I usually try my hardest to win everything. I don't like leaving things unfinished. Since you mentioned Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I have to say I have been having a lot of fun with the card game Queen's Blood, and I didn't think I would at first. The Chocobo racing is actually a lot more fun than it was in the original. It was actually really hard in the original. However, any minigame where they make you aim with a joystick to shoot targets always sucks. Also, the Rocket League minigame with Red 13 literally had me screaming at my TV. It was so frustrating.
He's not joking.
It's not very well done.
Fort Condor tower defense sequence in the original Final Fantasy VII always stands out as one of my favorite minigames. Also, Gwent to the Witcher was pretty fun.
That's the one I was expecting.
Xenogears had a mech fighting game that I sunk tons of hours into. Oh, and I can't forget Blitzball. Both versions of the game were fun as hell in Final Fantasy X and in 10-2. I don't care what anybody says.
I really gotta play Final Fantasy X.
I sucked at Blitzball.
I didn't understand Blitzball at all. I don't know what
catch
the hell's
ball,
going
throw
on.
it hole.
No, I don't. But you get ganged up on. You got to throw the ball elsewhere. I don't know what's going on. Brandon, make a video tutorial on how to play Blitzball.
Because I'm sure not one exists on the internet.
Well, but no one will teach me like Brandon will.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah, dude, that Xenogears thing I forgot about. Yeah, it's like a whole. They give you a whole tutorial when you start it, like multi-phase tutorial, because it's just a straight up entire fighting game.
Wow,
it's crazy. Those like, man, you probably could have sold this on PS1.
I keep wondering if a game like Queen's Blood isn't going to just make its way somewhere else. Like Gwent. Didn't Gwent have like a whole standalone game?
It did, yeah.
Thronebreaker?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, I'm surprised that Final Fantasy just hasn't made a collection of mini games. Call it Golden Saucer.
That's actually a really good idea.
It is, yeah.
Just throwing out the gold for him today.
I mean, you could even put the Triple Triad game. You could put
you put them from all the games in there.
What was it in 9? Was it called Tetra Triad? Tetra? What'd you say it was called?
Tetramaster?
Tetramaster. And then, yeah, that's a really good idea, man. Or if they made like a Mario Party or WarioWare style game that just had all these mini games in there, but they had...
You could just make Golden Saucer, have it, you walk around, do the things, but then you could have random cameos from people from different games just walking through the casino.
That's actually brilliant. That could be DLC for Rebirth, really.
Well, I think a standalone game makes more sense. You could have it could be all the Square you're scared. You have Chrono walking around trying to play some Triple Triad
from every game that they've ever made. Just like stick it into one.
I like it,
dude. I would guarantee you it would sell like gangbusters.
Bet you it would. Zack, you want to read the next one?
Sure. Jumping over to Discord, Alan Scheck said, "Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling." I actually really enjoyed bowling and air hockey in GTA 4 and pool in San Andreas. I thought those were fun ways to cool down from the intensity inherent to the rest of the game, and they made it feel more lived in. I also spent a lot of time gaming in the game corner in Pokemon. Interesting that gambling flew under the radar while the franchise was under heavy scrutiny by busybody parents for other dumb things. Yeah, GTA. I almost didn't mention the GTA ones because they're just like real life stuff, but I love doing the triathlons and golf in GTA 5 or pool's a lot of fun and all that in the various Grand Theft Autos. San Andreas, like when you get to the casino section, it's just you could play infinite amounts of casino games.
Yeah,
which is a ton of fun.
I remember the first time I realized that all this stuff was in Grand Theft Auto 4. I didn't realize there was. I went into this game thinking, "Oh, this is going to be a game about being a criminal, right?" And then for the first couple hours of the game, I went on dates and bowled and did all this stuff. And I'm like, I thought this was I didn't understand the concept that you don't have to do that stuff. I just did what the game told me to do. And the game constantly tells you to go bowling. So I just did what I was told. And it took me a while to realize that there's actually more to that game.
The amount of gambling I did in Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted the achievement. So
yeah,
get kicked out of all the casinos for winning too much.
Oh, speaking of, Brandon was mentioning earlier in his comment about he likes the rewards for it. And yes, there are rewards in Rebirth, but they do like tiered. where like if you get third place, you get whatever you need to advance the story. If you get second place, you get that, and you get something a little bit better. But if you get first place, you get like a straight up new piece of armor or a weapon or something that would be super, super helpful. So it's really difficult to not just track those down.
Well, just like in the OG, that was the only way to get one of Cloud's limit breaks.
Yeah. Plus, wasn't the Chocobo racing part of the Chocobo breeding, which was the only way to get
Chocobo breeding was the only way to get Knights of the Round.
Knights of the Round summon, yep.
And I really got to replay the original.
I know, right?
You don't remember that?
No, I did.
No, I remember. It vaguely comes back to me. Yes, but it is just like I got to replay that.
Like you had to breed Chocobos. You had to like wait until you got a specific color and then breed that one with this one. And
Golden S. Golden S plus this equals blue. Blue plus this equals green. Green plus blue equals black, and then black plus Golden S equals the one that you need to get there.
Around. That's so much more fun than Final Fantasy IX's timed Chocobo treasure hunts. They give you like 30 seconds to find 6 pieces of treasure or whatever. Frustrating.
Ugh.
But that's how you get some good equipment there too.
I actually just remember one that I'm surprised Scott skipped over. The stupid, the fishing minigame that you could do in Phantom Hourglass.
That's probably why I skipped it. I don't like fishing minigames.
But that was like, you could get so much in that, man. It was fun.
I
sail around and then go fishing. Fish up some treasure.
Anytime a game forces me to do a fishing minigame, I immediately consider putting it down.
Oh, the fishing.
I love fishing mini. I'll play a fishing minigame in any game. I don't care.
In Red Dead Redemption, in Far Cry,
in Ocarina of Time, man, and that little pond off of Lake Hylia. Yeah, I'll play the hell out of fishing minigame. Nier. You gotta fish in the main story of Nier. No wonder you didn't like that game as much as I did.
I finished it though,
which is funny because you played the one fishing game with all of us in the D&D group the one night. You had a blast that night.
Well, that is an arcade game, and we had quite a few beverages,
adult beverages,
and plus
and
that
it was
game
in
is
Japanese.
Highly entertaining because it's in Japanese, and they're speaking very excitedly in Japanese, and I can't do it.
Oh yeah!
Well, you're gonna do it. I was not gonna do it, but it's because I speak very rapidly, and it just sounds like gibberish to us drunken idiots. And man, that was a good time. That was fun, and that was also like you were holding a physical fishing
special
controller. Like, oh god, that was fun. It reminded me of those games you play in the arcade. Those fishing games where you like got to shoot the
like
harpoons at the fish.
Sega's like Blue Marlin.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Alyssa, you want to read the next one?
Sure. Thomas Bex writes, I'm not always a fan of mini games inside games, but sometimes they can be fun. One of my earliest gaming memories was playing poker in Leisure Suit Larry 2. You could probably finish the game without it, but it also gave you the opportunity to earn a lot of money, so I learned how to play poker at 13 years old.
Awesome. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the game poker. Like, it's
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what bugged me about the whole Balatro story, where like they were gonna pull it because it resembled gambling. Like, I don't know. We've got games where you resemble shooting people in the head, and that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anything that like is gambling adjacent, we're definitely gonna get rid of. But anyway, it's crazy. Jacob Gunderson writes in and says the original Animal Crossing had buyable NES consoles with games on them. I thought it was the coolest thing to be playing Excitebike on an NES and an Animal Crossing on the GameCube. I love it when games do that. Couldn't you play like the original Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong 64 or something like that? One of the.
It's been in one of them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Animal Crossing is how I played Excitebike for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a staple when I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember having that one on our NES, but I certainly got it in Animal Crossing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Drew Ross writes in, mini games I remember I actually took the time to play and enjoyed playing them were Zack in Star Wars KOTOR 1 and 2. It was pretty much blackjack finishing in Zelda Ocarina of Time, poker in Red Dead Redemption 1. The Dead Ops arcade in Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and fishing in Far Cry 5 and 6. See? Dude,
Yeah,
fishing minigames are where it's at.
Hey, I'm in the minority of people that don't like to play fishing minigames. I get
But
it.
if they
I mean,
stuck
I'm
a
not a fan
pinball
of
table in
There
there.
really any.
Oh, see, we're split
So.
50-50 on the podcast.
Yeah. I'm glad
Well,
I'm not
let's say if you
alone.
play Ocarina of Time, you too will love fishing in the little
Okay.
pond off of Lake Hylia.
Well, again, I liked the fishing minigame when I was a kid, when it was something that filled in and gave me something more to do. You know what I mean? It was awesome, especially because I was in Hyrule, and I got rupees, and it was all about trying to get that big fish, and moving towards. I don't know. I was so enraptured in the world of Hyrule, and I had nothing but time when I was a kid.
I'm telling you, the fishing minigame in Red Dead is relaxing, especially in Red Dead 2, when you're like, look at the beautiful scenery, and I can fish.
Yeah, you like to
Definitely.
fish in real life, though. I don't.
It's fun to track down the legendary fish in that game as well.
Yep.
Nice little challenging, outrageously large fish. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm with CB, man. Fishing mini games. I don't want to play a fishing game, but I'll play any fishing mini game thrown my way.
That's so weird to me. All right, we got one more, Zach.
Sure. Paul Hine writes in, wasn't there also darts in GTA 4? Anybody else find Gwent in Witcher 3 both fascinating and infuriating?
Darts in
Yeah,
video
I
game
don't know.
format has never made sense to me.
Because it's just so easy.
No, I mean, I don't even remember how it works mechanically. There was a game on NES called Magic Darts. And I think all it did was just it moved a target randomly around the dartboard, and then you just pressed it when it got there. So, you just wait.
It's pretty much the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't play it on GTA 4. I don't remember how that worked mechanically, but
At least they had a bunch of different game modes, at least in GTA 4. But it did not work dissimilar from what you're talking about.
yeah.
Where it would just kind of wobble around.
I will say in Arcade Paradise, they have darts, which is... but they also have a foosball table, which you could do the typical foosball thing of spin everything really fast.
Were you playing that behind my back? You playing that
Oh.
foosball behind my back?
Oh. Yes, Bobby.
Some high quality H2O.
Hope you like what I did to y'all
Oh.
lawnmower.
That Bobby. You
Well-
can do it all
No, we were talking about
night
Bobby
long.
Kotick.
I didn't know, man. I thought maybe it was Ricky Bobby. I was like, I don't remember a foosball scene in Talladega Nights.
Shake and bake.
Hello,
All
Tom
right.
Cruise.
Stay tuned on our social media outlets for our next topic. It will be a good one, I'm sure. Zach, thanks so much for the inspiration or the idea on this one. That worked out really quite well. That's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. The episode was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemmagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zach, any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
Yeah, I got a comic recommendation. As Marvel has continued to build their new Ultimate Universe, which fresh continuity, where the villains are in charge. Each book has been very interesting. But Ultimate X-Men #1 just debuted this week, and while I do not think it was as strong as Spider-Man or Black Panther's debut was, I think it is very interesting. And I bring it up because it is basically a horror manga.
Oh.
So I figured people like Alyssa,
Yeah.
friends of hers, this might be an interesting way to check out the X-Men for you, because it takes place in Japan with Japanese middle schoolers and themes of suicides and hauntings and stuff. So it was a little surprisingly dark, I would say, for Marvel especially, but yeah, it's this Ultimate Universe they're building is very interesting, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But particularly for the manga and anime inclined crowd, Ultimate X-Men #1 is a very interesting place to start.
I'll
Nice.
definitely have to look it up, yeah.
Yeah, I think you would like it, Alyssa. That's
CB,
mostly why I'm bringing it up.
CB, how
Aw.
about you, man?
Oh, I got two quick things. One will make Zach happy. My oldest son decided he's going to play his first Souls game, just playing through Elden
Ah,
for the first time.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to start, honestly.
And just watching him trying to figure this game out, and I'm like, well, I've beaten this twice. Just
Mhm.
watching his brain spin as he's trying to figure this out or as he's running through an area and all of a sudden just like a giant dragon drops on him. He's like, what happened? Like,
Hey, man.
Dark Souls, bro. Welcome.
Gotta grow up through trauma, kid.
So yeah, just watching, being a parent watching somebody play something that like frustrated me for the longest time. Awesome. Number 2, I have recently been watching through a ton of old movies, going through my Laserdisc stuff. So it has been. The amount of 80s cheese that I have missed over the years bewilders me. So for those who love trashy 80s movies, I have a recommendation. Go watch oh god, which April.
Wow, it's really
No,
really
like
stuck
I
out
got
to
hit
you.
with 3 at once, and it's like, no, say this one. I'm like, well, one I definitely cannot say on this podcast. April Fool's Day. So,
Okay.
Dude, there's no words to describe some of these movies and how they got made, but just I know like a lot of people love the idea of holiday themed movies. Just April Fool's Day. Just
Okay.
All right.
I'm
sorry. Is it a slasher?
it's a
I didn't
slasher.
catch it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But some of these are very in line with a certain movie that Scott likes to show people.
Oh.
I know
So-
what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, I found a whole bunch of them.
All right. I'm down. Sit and watch
Dude,
those.
we're gonna have to watch some of these because you will enjoy.
Yeah, I enjoy as well. Alyssa, how about you?
Well, I've got a K-drama recommendation. I don't think anyone watches K-dramas besides me, but I'm still going to recommend it. It's got 2 different titles. So if you watch it on Netflix, it's called Rain or Shine. If you watch it anywhere else, it's called Just Between Lovers. Don't ask me why it's a different name. I don't know. But this is not a happy show. Let me just preface it. Because it deals with these 2 people who are 25, but it flashes back in time a decade. They're both 15. They didn't know each other, but they were in a shopping mall that's being built for different reasons. The mall collapsed, killed 48 people. They both survived. And it's just about how a decade on, they still suffer from PTSD, and they're living with their grief, and they reconnect with each other. And they kind of have to go back and see the site again after a decade, and it's just about how they deal with all that, just the trauma of it all. And even though it is sad, like, it's very much a sad series, there is an undercurrent of hope, and it's a fascinating watch. And I know I'm gonna cry at some point because Subway popped up.
That's where emotional scenes happen in K-dramas, right?
Yeah, if Subway's a sponsor, it's pretty much a guarantee that there's going to be like a episode later on, at least one episode that's going to rip your heart out, if not more than one. Has happened every time that I've noticed Subway in a series so far.
Wait. Subway is like the sandwich people?
Yes.
Oh, I
They
thought you were
ha-
talking
for
about
some-
an actual Subway.
No, the sandwich chain, the Subway sandwich chain. If
Where you
they
can
pop
eat
up in a
fresh.
K-drama, it's probably gonna be sad at some point.
Weird.
I figured this out.
That's such a weird thing to be a trope.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they have to make up for past indiscretions.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm not going there. All right.
No, see, I always thought you just meant because of how sugary their bread is.
No.
You went significantly.
It's probably
darker.
like completely different in Korea. Like, seriously, the sandwiches look amazing in these shows.
right.
They don't look anything like what we get here. Like, I'm like,
Was it France that declared that their Subway bread was a confectionery because it had so much sugar?
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Just like California where it's not tuna fish.
Right. Yeah. Good
Look.
stuff.
All right. Well, there you have it,
Super
guys.
Wait, you got any recommendations, Scott?
No, I didn't do anything but play
Okay.
Final Fantasy this week. I got
Yeah,
nothing.
Understandable, dude.
I mean, seriously, every free second. That's all I did, and it's I got report cards due on Friday, so it's gonna be really tough this week. So pray
Every
for
kid
me.
gets an A.
Actually, I
Final
don't do
Fantasy.
A's. Just say, I'll just put comments write my review of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the comments in the kids' report card?
Go to
That'd be great.
thegamingoutsider.com.
All right, well, until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson, Alyssa White, and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.